All right, what up, man? Welcome. We live in here. You know what I'm saying? I know we missed Mother's Day. Respectfully, you know what I'm saying. I didn't want to bother
Yeah.
nobody with
Yep.
that one. How was your week, bro? Everything good?
Man, my week is good. Busy, but it's good. I'm moving around. I'm breathing. Family's good, so life is awesome. How about you?
Oh man, I can't complain, bro. You know, getting this grandparent time in that shit different, fam.
Yeah, yeah. How's
You know,
that going
bro,
though?
it's totally different from what I expected. And what I mean by that is I had a lot of coworker or not coworkers, excuse me, colleagues and associates like, man, when you become a grandfather and friends and family, like it's different. I'm like, nah, you know what I'm saying? Like it's gonna be cool, but why shit different, man? I don't know. It's different just to see, you know what I'm saying, your lineage continue. You know what I'm saying? But on that topic, right, I want to touch on a couple things. Again, forgive me, you know, I'm always fresh out the gym. You know what I'm saying, when I get on these podcasts. So but I wanted to, is looking at having a grandchild, looking at my daughter, knowing she was pregnant, watching the baby grow in her belly, seeing her have this baby and put her life on the line to do it. I wondered, I always hear people say, man, women specifically, oh, I love my stepkids like my own. And I question that shit from the bottom of my heart, right? I have always said, respectfully, I'm not stepfather material because I'm gonna love my kids better, right? Or harder, not better. I don't want to sound like fuck you, you know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna love my kids harder. I'm gonna choose my children if the situation puts me in that predicament. And I didn't carry them, right? So, I have these conversations with my wife because I'm like, what do you think in these situations? And she's like, I don't believe a woman when she says I can love another kid like my own. I just don't believe it. You know what I'm saying? And so I wanted to kind of have that discussion and get your thoughts on it and find out, right? Because from my perspective, I just don't see that as doable, right? For a woman to be able to say, look, I've got this kid that I birthed, right? That I carried, that developed inside of me, that I delivered, and then some years down the road, I meet another guy who's got kids, and I'm gonna love his kids the same way. I just don't. I can't subscribe to that. But I wanted to get your opinion on it.
Yeah, I don't think it's feasible for men or women. I think that it's more believable for women just because they're viewed as nurturers.
Right, right,
I think that, but I honestly believe that most women try to convince themselves of that because they understand that it's likely a condition that comes with the man that they're in love with.
right.
But that's the key word. I think it's conditional. I think it would inevitably change if that she's not with that man any longer, and vice versa.
Right.
It would inevitably change. But when you add in the biological component of it, I just think it's impossible.
I'm with you. Right.
I think that I can show any child the same respect, the same responsibility. You know what I mean? I definitely believe that you have to, respect and love and care for all children,
Right. I'm with
right?
you 100%.
But I tell you what, I'll make it personal, right? I have, my biological son, and the things that I have to go through with him that I'm currently going through with him only make sense to me because he is my biological son.
100%.
I can assure you that I don't care how long he's been in my life. If he was not my flesh and blood, I would withdraw. I would not put up
100%.
with it. I only feel obligated to because it's literally my son. I pour into other I pour into other young men a lot. You know what I mean? And they're a lot of times they're more receptive than my own, right?
Right,
So
right.
I show the same allegiance,
hmm
but when it comes down to it, I'm not gonna lie and say I'm gonna pick, you know, them over my son if it comes down to it.
So that's where I was going, right? So I had this conversation. Here's what started the whole conversation. There was a Facebook group I was in, and this chick posted, some about only weak men become stepfathers. And I said, let me clarify, because I think the chick put the shit the wrong way. I said, what I think they're saying is and this is just my interpretation, right? Every man prefers his own seed, right? But that's not reality for everybody, right? You meet a person, you fall in love, they got kids. That's the situation you deal with. And of course, some motherfuckers got mad, and I'm like, listen, I'm not knocking stepfathers. I'm literally not. I said, but I'm just saying, no young man grows up like I can't wait to be a stepdad. That's just not. Even if you want to have multiple children, that's not what you do. So that led down the path, and then I got I had chicks telling me, well, I can absolutely love a kid that isn't mine, like as much as I love my own. I said, I'm not saying you can't love two children, right? I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is there's a difference. So I had to take it to what I call the scenarios where it's a hypothetical, right? Hypothetically speaking, if I am, this is me just speaking. I ain't saying speaking for nobody. If I'm somewhere and there's a house fire, right? I'm with my child and another child, and I got a 2% chance of saving mine and a 98% chance of saving. I'm going for mine every time. That's what I am doing.
That's going to be your instinct. It's going to be anybody's instinct.
And that's what I was trying to explain. Like, it's not that you don't love another kid. I could not live with myself saying to myself, I had an opportunity to try to save my own. Now, where it gets complicated is if, you got a kid with a chick and you got a kid without her, and it's the same shit. Now you have a whole new problem, right? Because they're both your children, right? But I just don't think it's humanly possible for a woman. And I know I'm speaking on a woman and for a woman, and I'm not one. But I'm just looking at it.
I don't think that we necessarily speaking for women, right? Because I'm not going to tell a woman. I can't tell a woman how she feels, but I know I've lived life enough to know that women get like that at times. They feel a way, and they believe that their feelings trump the reality of the matter, and that's okay because that's what we here for, right?
Right. The
But
logical part of it.
I don't want to deal with. I don't want to deal with just men. I wouldn't want to deal with that energy either. Just this is always logic. You know what I mean? Because I think it's a balance. I need
need them
emotion
both.
as well,
Right,
right?
you
That's
need them
why
both.
that's why I need my woman, right?
100%.
But if we want to go with anecdotals, right? Okay, so if logically speaking, if women really believe that, then whenever we go to the hospital and you have your child, what's up, Robin? I know you was coming.
Robin was gonna be in this bitch,
Yeah.
and I'm all, hey, but go ahead.
But if you really believe that, then women would just have children, and then the nurses could just bring them a child.
Right, they wouldn't give a fuck because it's just a
And
baby.
say, here's a child, and I guarantee you want the child that you just birthed.
Man,
You want to hold the child you just birthed, and it's a reason why, right? And you're supposed to want
that's
that.
a part of you.
Yeah, it's a part of you. That's and I think that we just have to have these dumbass conversations just because of how it mutes how fucked up society is, right?
I just thought about something that proves most of them is full of shit. Women hate a real dad that's a shitty real dad and a great stepfather for somebody else. If you can love the kids the
that's where it
same,
comes from, right?
right? If you can love the kids the same, why we mad if he a shitty dad and a great stepdad? It's kids, right? He should be a good dad on both ends, right?
Yeah, it's really
But
that. I'm telling
I
you.
just thought about that shit. I'm
Right.
like,
It wouldn't even be a conversation, right? It wouldn't matter. He's loving some kids. They don't
Right.
have to
It's
be
just a
his own.
kid,
If
right? It's
you
the same.
believe that, right, but there's a difference, right? The same questions that you're going to ask. How are you going to take care of somebody else's children and not your own, right?
'Cause it's a
I'm gonna
kid.
ask you that same question. How are you going to love another child as much as you love your own?
Right.
Doesn't work that way, right? I'm not saying that you are not going to accept the child. You wouldn't care
right.
for the child.
And I think that's where the problem comes in. People immediately be like, oh, no, you saying I can't love. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying there's a difference, right? There's a difference.
Let's catch Robin up. She may
Because
have missed
why
the
he being a
original
better
point.
father to someone else is
Yeah,
but
we
you just
agree.
saying the legitimate
Right.
shit we're saying.
Yeah,
if it's a kid and it doesn't matter who you love more, doesn't matter if it's your kid. You know what I'm saying? He's still loving the kid.
Come in, Robin, because I'm saying,
Man, all you gotta do is hit me. That link
Yeah.
from last week still good.
Yeah.
Right? So all you gotta do is click that motherfucking link and we'll bring you in. But that's the key piece, right? I just thought about that shit. I'm like, wait a minute, how can we get mad, right? Or not us, but people in general get mad and say, well, you're not a good, you're a shitty man if you're a good stepdad, not a good real dad. Like you still being a dad figure to a kid if you can love them the same, you should be able to love a motherfucker more than yours.
Hey,
You know
no,
what I'm
if
saying?
that really worked, then we don't. Then that would be an out for any man, right?
Man, right. I'm just picking
You
up
would
the
say,
tab on
hey,
somebody else.
I'm saying if I can leave all my kids, I'm just got to go find me a kid to take care of.
Equivalent number. Let's
And
match it
that's
up, right?
yeah,
You know what I'm
that's
saying? I'm gonna
and it
leave
should
my
be
three.
okay. It should be okay. Nah,
Right.
it's a difference, right?
Right.
And it's so I just think that we, like I said, we have to have these conversations
We do.
because if we don't, then we would have to have the real conversation, which is, hey man, why we can't just have children and raise them together, as men and women? Like why we can't just do that?
I mean
We don't
that's
even have to have this conversation, right? That's how it's supposed to go.
right. I mean that's a legitimate question, right? Like as far as we used to have that, we'll call it the village, right? I remember, bro, and
Yeah.
again, I'm from way back. I ain't gonna call myself old because my guy be getting on me when I say I'm old.
Man, yeah, you can't.
I'm from way
Yeah,
back, right? I'm from before cell phones and before DVDs and all that shit, right? But I remember, bro, when you fucked up, bro, at least in my neighborhood, I knew I was getting my ass whooped at home. What I didn't know is how many times I was getting my ass whooped on the way home, right? From somebody
yeah,
else's parent. Like if I did some
yeah,
stupid shit,
yeah,
it was, and it was worth
yeah,
it, right?
yeah. Right?
It
Yeah.
guided me, right? Now you yell at somebody's kid, you might have to fight the parent. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just we on
But you
some
guess
different
what?
shit.
Now, no, but look. With that being said, that part is okay. That's what it really is. It's not about those parents loving us more than their children. They're just being responsible parents, right? But I
Mm-hmm.
guarantee you, they are telling it like this. Is what my parents would tell me, or my mom, or whoever would say, "Hey, stay away from him, or stay
Hundred
away from
percent.
her." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
you don't because they understand that you are my first priority.
I mean
Everything else
that's
is
just reality,
secondary,
bro.
and that's just reality. That's just what it is,
And
man.
I think here's what I truly believe: every woman that I saw that said I could love another kid like my own had a kid and needed a man to love that kid like their own, right?
Right? It's
And
conditional.
it's conditional
Right.
because if that dude leaves you, right, 5 years from now, 7 years from now, you still love that kid like your own, right? I'm not saying you
No,
can't love him.
no,
And then
no.
let's say new stepdaddy coming to pay. So it's just too many variables,
Right,
bro.
right. And then you may be able to love a kid as if they were your own, right?
As if, but if I
As
have to
if,
choose,
but the same way, no. That's
bro,
and that's why
this
and
is
that's why we're
America,
saying that, right? It's
right? You could be anywhere, right? And some mass shooting shit jump off. I'm not just covering the closest kid to me. I'm covering mine. I'm going to find mine, right? And that's what every parent's gonna do.
that's
We
going to be
talk
your
this
first
shit.
concern. That's going to be your
Right.
first
We talk
instinct
this shit,
concern.
but that we don't believe it. Right? It's the feel good shit. It's the shit that I say when I
Look,
see the body positivity shit for certain people, and they like, oh, I love myself in my skin. I used to say that bullshit too when I was extra big. Right? It's the comfort of making my situation not make me feel bad. Right? Not
guess
that you
what?
should, right? But that's just it's the situation.
If we really going to keep it a stat, right? If let's just say there was a shooting at like a child a young people's event, and there
You've seen it,
were unfortunately casualties, right? I guarantee before your sadness for other children, your first
man.
instinct is I'm glad that it wasn't my child.
Right?
Right? You're not going to feel the same way. Your first
It's
concern is that it don't if you don't want to know who was a casualty, you want to know is your child
is
safe,
man, 100%,
right?
bro.
I mean, and that's just natural. And
I
then
think
after
that's
that, then you will feel something for the other children. But you know what you're gonna be feeling? I couldn't imagine because if it was my
right.
child, this is how
I'm
I would
feeling
feel.
happy and sad at the same time. I'm happy it wasn't mine. I'm sad it was somebody else's.
But
Right?
guess what? If you were on the other end of
I'm
that,
not happy no matter what. I don't care
you
who went home.
you're gonna be
I
sad that
will
you're.
eventually, right? But right now, I'm
I
focused on.
won't. I won't.
I
I ain't
mean,
gonna
I
lie.
don't get me wrong, bro.
I, I
At a
don't. I
certain
don't
point, I'll be
mean
like,
that.
okay, you know what? I don't want anybody else in this fucking pain I'm in. Right?
Right. You don't wish that on nobody.
Right.
Right.
I would say, okay, you're right. I ain't gonna be happy.
But I'm saying if to me, no, if we want to be honest, I'm saying if you had the opportunity to swap out, you would swap out.
100% every fucking day.
Right? Like if I'm just that's just who we are. It's
You're supposed to be
come
that
on,
way, bro.
man. I mean, that's not selfish. Why we we want to convince ourselves that it's selfish to love our children more than anything in the world,
It's
including any other people's children.
and that was the thing. I'm like, listen, I could almost understand if a dude met a chick that was pregnant, right? Start dating her, she had the baby, and then they had one later, and you've been there from day one. I can, from a man's perspective, I can almost understand, right? Almost.
Say that again. Explain that. Say that
Say
again.
you meet a chick, y'all start dating, she already pregnant. For whatever reason, y'all, you know what I'm saying, she already pregnant, y'all dating. Right? I already see your face.
That's what I thought you said. I'm like, you shouldn't have no. You shouldn't have no.
But I know people have been through that, right?
I know. I think it's stupid.
Again, I don't. I'm not gonna say yes or no on that one. But I know people been through that shit, right? And I can almost see, or I can even. I'm gonna go as far as say, okay, I can see you looking at that kid as like your own because you watched that kid.
Explain how.
Assuming it was weeks, not months, right? You meet
No,
this
no.
chick,
I'm saying
the
literally.
baby's in the belly
Yeah,
cooking. You've
yeah,
been there the whole time.
yeah.
I can
Explain how.
almost see that. It's like, okay, you've been there from the start from a male perspective,
Like,
right?
explain. I need you to explain so I can understand.
You still dropping loads off in there, right? Well, you know what I'm saying? So it's not you, but it's like it's you. It's close to you. It's not you though, right? That's why I said almost. I can
Hey
almost.
man, see that type of thinking is what
I
got
still,
us.
I'm not gonna be there. I'm
I
understanding
know
on
you
somebody else's
not. I
behalf.
know you not.
Right? I'm
That's
understanding
why I
on
want you.
somebody else's
Nah.
behalf.
So I'm saying that, like, look, to be respectful, if you are going to mate with a woman who already has a child and is already bearing a child, right? Then yeah, I think you are accepting that responsibility of raising that child like it's your own, right? And you will likely develop a strong level of love for that, for you, for that. But I guarantee that's going to make you want to have your own with that person. You're going to feel entitled to that,
100%.
right? And you should. But when we come down to the facts, let's say that's the case, right? And you had your child, right? And there was a choice to be made. You only have one variable to go off of, and it's going to be this is my actual child, though, right?
So that's where the problem I think would come in if you're dating a chick that has a kid and you also have a kid with it and some fuck shit jump off, you're in a no-win situation because both of them are her kids no matter what. Right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's where the fuck shit, my opinion, would be
So
like,
why
man,
do you think this is a problem with this idea is a problem with a lot of women? Why do you think it's a
because they
problem?
have kids with men that they are not with. So they can't fathom the concept of saying my kids are going to matter to me more than this guy's kids because if I say that to him, he ain't going to be there. But if you take all of them before they get their man, they be like, my kid's always going to come first. And then when the dude don't want to fuck with him, right? They're like, I don't understand why you don't want my kids to come first, right? Like it's I think it's like I said, more of a self-defense mechanism than actual reality, right? I don't believe
Yeah,
that shit for 1 minute.
I think it's another symptom of what comes with the breakdown of the traditional family structure and within the culture.
Okay, relief then grief. I think Robin's talking about what we was on before, but I mean it's just common sense, bro. When we go out as adults, do we take our kids places? We don't watch everybody else's kids. We watch our own. It's a whole shit ton of kids here, but my eyes, I don't care if this kid's parents are here. Don't get me wrong. If some fuck shit jump off and I can safely protect mine and theirs, I got you, right? But I'm not gonna be watching your kids and neglecting mine, right? And that's just the reality.
Right, because guess what? If you put yourself at risk to save somebody else's child, you're neglecting your own child as well, right?
right.
Like, what kind of shit is that? For
You
me,
gotta go home.
I
You have people
I
depending
end
on
up dead because I tried to save somebody else's child is a hell of a way to go out if you ask me, right?
look good on paper, but your
Look
family
good
don't
on
give a
paper.
shit.
Right. And like they so I just don't we shouldn't even really be having this conversation that way. This shouldn't be a thing. So you know what I mean, if we're gonna have the conversation though, then yeah, the men are going we need to have it directly and like really what it is, because what it should serve as is motivation for us to really get our shit together to where we won't have to have these conversations. Just make better choices in who you build families with and we'll be all right. It won't even be
You know what?
you know what I mean?
That's the shit that I think we're missing, bro. Is I thought about it because I don't think we really think about the kids. Kids have no input on coming to this motherfucker, bro.
Right.
Right? We create we create there's no hold on, there ain't no exception when it come to your kids. Though. I'm gonna be
What's
real, Robin.
what's the
I
no?
don't know.
Yeah, Rob,
Robin, you gonna have to hit the link and come on in because
yeah,
I don't know.
or explain why where there's an exception. I think
Yeah,
this is an example of that emotional part that women cannot avoid, and that's okay because that's part of who you are. But you gonna have to make it make sense if we gonna have a conversation about
I
it. So,
mean we ain't got no motherfucking choice, right? Like that's just
because
reality.
even my emotion is telling me that my emotion is telling me like, man, now you look out for your own first.
I mean that's reality, bro. Like
It's,
we don't have a fucking choice, right? I mean not I mean you have a choice, but it's still reality says I'm going to take care of my own, right? Like I'd be foolish
hey,
to let my kids starve so yours can eat. Now, if I got enough for all of us, we gravy, right? Like that's reality. But
it's just like this. If we have we talk that shit, but then in the traditional sense, typically when it come down to situations where you got to discipline another man's child, then there's a conversation, right? You know what I mean?
right,
Then
right.
we gotta kind of when it come to discipline, then we gotta kind of not well.
So I used to word that this way, and it sounds harsh, but I don't mean it in a physical form. If I can't beat your kid, I can't treat your kid, right? Like I can't treat your kid like my own if I can't discipline your kid like my own.
If you draw boundaries with me, then I can't love your kid like it's my own because it's not my. I don't have the boundaries with my own kid.
Right,
Right? It's
right,
my kid. Even the law observes that. You know what I
right,
mean? The law.
right. You got a point.
Yeah, I mean, if I discipline my kid in my own house, as my kid, I have the right to do that. But if I do it to somebody else's, it can be called deemed as
That's a
child
fucking
as
charge.
abuse, right? Yeah,
Right,
it's
that's a
what it
charge.
is, right?
Right?
So,
I can't snatch nobody else's kid up just because they was acting the fuck up.
right,
You know what I'm
that's what
saying?
it is. I mean, we just don't, and that's why we have to look at it for what it is. I mean, I wish it ain't about. I don't even say I wish it wasn't like that because it is what it is. It's supposed to be like that. Just drawing up that way. I don't. I'm still struggling with why this is a thing when, it just acknowledge that like, hey, if yeah, for my own child's sake, if I need a man, and he's willing to come in and help take care of me and my child, I will accept his child and care for them as if they were my own. But if
You'd be
he
an asshole if you didn't.
right, but if he don't, if he leave, then I got to look out for my child first. You ain't going that those sacrifices you were making for his child. I don't see you extending those, you know, ongoing. I just don't.
Right. I mean, it's a cultural problem, right? And what I mean by that is we have, we have, I call them lust babies. We just be having babies to fucking have babies without intent, right? And what I mean by without intent, obviously, if you have an unprotected sex or sex in general, you practice on having a baby. But we having babies with people that we don't want to have any kind of relationship with, right? So I was
You don't even know.
talking to this chick, and she's like, my 19-year-old daughter's pregnant by her boyfriend. They want to have the baby and move in and get married. She said, "Fuck that. You ain't marrying a motherfucker who can't provide for you." I'm like, bro, the bond that y'all have with the kid is a lifetime bond. If you talking about a requirement or a responsibility, like the marriage is the small part of that shit. You know what I'm saying? She's like, "Oh, fuck that. Just because they have a kid don't mean they got to get married." I'm like, "You're right, but it also doesn't mean they shouldn't be married."
But they are married though.
They're married in the aspect of they're lifers, whether you
Right.
want to be or
Like
not. And if
whether I
anybody
mean
drops the ball,
I lived it. I lived it, so it's fact. You know
I
what I
mean,
mean?
you
Like
lifers, bro.
it is what it. I mean, you can ignore it if you want to,
Right,
but it exists.
right, right.
You know what I mean? I can people ignore it all the time, but I'm saying, and that's what we're talking about. We're talking about another man or woman coming in and trying to comp for the absence of another parent,
Yeah,
and that I even ask the kid, would I, if all I've done for you, I can respect you, I can show you love, I can take care of you,
you're
I
not
can
my
give
father.
everything you want. What would you rather have?
100%.
They're going to, I mean, any
Especially
kid
if it's a
wants
little
that.
boy, bro.
Right, I mean, come
If
on,
it's a
man.
little boy, I might give a little leeway to a younger girl, right? But a young boy, and I'm gonna speak specifically about our culture. They want their daddy, bro.
Yeah, their dad. That's what they want,
Their dad.
right? And you know when it's gonna show up? It's going to show up when they're in school and other parents are showing up.
Yeah, yeah.
They're going to notice that now would they settle for the a non-biological parent?
It's
Yeah,
definitely better than nothing,
what could what you know what I mean what kid wouldn't? But I'm
bro.
saying what do they want?
I
They
was having a conversation. Excuse me for interrupting. I was having a conversation with
you
a
good?
grown ass man. He's young, but he's a grown man, and he didn't have a good relationship with his father. And it turns out his mom was the reason, right? His mom told him all this other shit, right? All kind of bad shit about it, to the point where he was scared to approach his father as a young kid throughout the years. He really just sat down with his father this year, right? At 20 plus years old, he just sat down with his father and had a conversation. He was like, "Man, all the shit my mom told me was wrong." Right now, he has a stepfather, good dude, but I remember having a conversation with the stepfather because I know the family, and he was like, "Man, we were having this conversation," and he said, "You're not my real father," and that's reality, bro, especially for a man, right? Because when I don't care who you are, bro, and everybody's different, so there's exceptions. But as a father, at some point, as a father of a son, at some point, he gonna test you, right? He gonna buck up a little bit, right? That's man shit. When he's not your son, the bucking up is you're not my father, right?
And even the I'm gonna fuck you up is different too.
Right? You got to stand down because he didn't lie.
Right. But guess what? Me checking a man's son, another man's son versus mine, it's gonna look different, right?
It's different, bro.
That's just because I'm saying like, if my own son try me, like once again, you my son, so I'm gonna deal with you as I
This is
see
different.
fit,
Your
right?
mama gonna sit the fuck down and get out the way.
Yeah, you know
We
what I'm
gonna
saying?
handle this.
But this over here, you just basically become a nigga off the street then.
At that point,
I'm
bro,
gonna
you
have to
cross
deal
that
with
line.
you. I'm gonna have to deal with you, and then I
daddy.
expect your daddy and y'all, well, all of them to come. My family ain't gonna respond when they find out my son tried me and I choked his ass out.
Bro,
Good. That's how they gonna
it's
feel.
it's a different. Listen, I love my son to death. There was a certain point in my life, in his life, where he bucked up. Like, listen, don't get fucked up. Right, mom's y'all quit. No, this is normal shit. It has to happen. Right, and mom's upset. Mom's crying, but mom's sitting back. Now, if that's not my son, and we beefing, mom's gonna have a whole different motherfucking perspective. Don't touch my fucking son. Right? Don't art. Y'all. It's different, bro. And
She's gonna naturally feel like she has to defend him.
and honestly, she feels that no matter what.
Right.
But when it's the father, you also understand
Yeah.
this is not the argument or the confrontation I need to be in, right? Because it's just
She'll be comfortable standing down.
Right.
Because you are his father.
right. She's gonna want to stop and separate and prevent the argument, the yelling or whatever the
I
situation
dealt with
occurred.
it, bro. I dealt with it. That's why I
Man.
know it's fact. I dealt with it. It's different, right? And I dealt with just everything that comes with trying to discipline another man's son as if, I mean, now you can only stand on the fact that this is my house, right?
Right.
That's all you can, and if you can stand on that, but I could, right? This is my house, right?
Not everybody can stand on that because
Right.
it ain't always a house.
Right. But I'm saying I could stand on that. So that's the only difference. But ultimately, this is not my son.
Right.
I don't, I really don't reserve that right.
I mean, so that's a limit, right? That's a limitation of the situation, right? Where we have to say to ourselves, I'm in this situation. I have to accept what comes with it, right? I mean, that's just the reality.
Yep.
I mean, that's what it is, bro. And it's difficult. And I've always looked at it like that's a scenario that me personally, I'm not cut out for. Too many variables I
Right.
can't control. I'm slightly a control freak. I need to dictate what's going on in my life.
That's
And you
where-
knocking on my
That's where it's
motherfucking
gonna be a
door
problem.
saying to me, I want to see my kid at whatever time you come is a variable I can't argue with. Because I understand where you're coming from, father, right? But I also know where I'm at. And for me, that's
Trust me. It's a conflict of interest no matter how you
There's-
shape
there's-
it, right? Look, I tell you what, your mindset is what every man should carry. I don't care what no, and I'm saying myself included. I don't regret any decision I made in my life because it
Right.
summed me up to who I
That's
am.
where
But I
you
mean,
are. That
I,
got you where you are.
I still learned, right? So it's all
Hmm.
hindsight. But I'm saying that when I wouldn't tell my sons to do what I did. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, hey,
I'm
you
finna
don't.
send Robin this link again
Okay, okay.
she pretending she can't find this motherfucker.
Yeah.
So I'm finna hit her with this shit though.
But I think your mindset is a mindset that I respect and appreciate and actually admire because I think a lot of us don't have the balls to even say that at a certain point in our life when we really should think like that.
And to be fair, right? It's in talking with my therapist, right? This shit, it came. I mean, I knew at a wait. Robin ain't no messenger. What's going on? Hang on, let me see. She might have shut her messenger down. She on some bullshit. Let me search for her. But I mean, I just knew, bro. Like that's not for me. The way I want to live my life, um, it's just not for not for me.
I don't think it's really for any of us. We just started adapting to fucked up shit. Like, you know what I mean? It became a norm because we accepted that we are going to have broken families. That's what we accepted as a culture. And we should never have accepted that.
I mean, I asked to a certain extent. I don't know. Let me see. I don't know why my shit was saying Robin ain't had no messenger, but I got her. There you go, Robin. I dropped a link in your messenger, so if you want to click on that shit, you all great. Um, it's different, bro. I have friends and colleagues and associates and people who've dealt with it, and for a lot of people, it's cool, right? For me, like I'm too. Growing up, I had experiences with people I think were too. I don't know the proper word to put it. Too petty, right? If I was in that situation, then I'm like, hey, me and my girl want to go somewhere. I got to communicate with you to watch your kid, right? Some motherfuckers ain't gonna watch their own kid while you take the girl to Hawaii or some other motherfucking place, right?
Man, bruh.
I don't get to pick who he is.
I'm saying that we're not even equipped to deal with the consequences of the behavior that we're saying that we want to accept, right? I tell you, like I don't care what nobody say. Like my daughters, they can show me and I can show them, we can exchange any kind of affection that we want for their entire lives. I don't care how old they are, when they can come sit on my lap, right? And there are going to be no questions asked. Let somebody else's older daughter do that.
Right.
It's gonna get uncomfortable.
So-
you know what I mean?
Right.
Like that's just in there. I'm talking about for everybody. We just want to act like
100%.
it's not, but it will. So let's not.
Right. People treat their own kids different, bro.
Right.
I'm not gonna sit here and bullshit you.
And the world looks at it differently, right? We measure it differently. Like me, you know what I mean? Somebody seeing me, even if this baby that I was there before, right? Like right after conception, before it was born, it's a female, right? Like even if we say if I kiss my daughters on the lips, you know what I'm saying? If I do that with somebody else's daughter, it's going to be uncomfortable. It's
Bro,
going, you know what I mean? Like that's just
100%.
it is going to feel differently. You know what I mean? You're not my daughter, so I wouldn't do it. You know what I mean? That's the difference.
We got a female friend of ours, right? Like she been with this dude for some years, and me and my wife be looking at each other like, man, dude, a little too friendly with her daughter, right? Like it's just like mentally, I'm looking at this shit. I'm like, so I said something to the wife one time, like, is it me? Because I'm sometimes I'll be tripping. I'm like, this motherfucker's a little too friendly. It's not his kid, right? And it even stands out even more to me, bro. And this sounds fucked up, but the kid. Okay, so here's a black dude. She's a white chick. Kid's white. So it already looked weird to me. I'm like, she shouldn't be sitting on your fucking lap, right? She's just weird to me, bro.
It will get weird. If we really wanted to have an honest conversation, right? There's going to be this thing where, once again, if it's not your child, you know, as that child turns into an adult woman, there is going to be possibility for you to be attracted. You're going to look, you know what I mean, versus your own child.
You would never look at your kid like that, bro.
I mean, now we got we know where there are exceptions.
We're going to
right?
exclude them weird motherfuckers.
Right. But I'm saying you're never. That's not you. I don't have the ability to do that. You know what I mean? But I have the ability to do that with somebody else's grown daughter. You know what I mean? Like, because that's essentially what we
100%.
all are. You know what I mean?
Bro.
And vice versa. It can go both ways if we really want to have an honest conversation. That's why I don't get into it. I wouldn't volunteer for it at all.
No, I'm with you on that one, right? That's something that I think especially with younger, I would say stepdaughters. There's so much shit that comes along with stepkids, bro, that I've just seen throughout the years. Right, you bring in kids together who didn't know each other. God forbid, right? You bring them together as teenagers. You can't say, hey, listen, you ain't supposed to like her because I like her mama, right? Like that's just that shit. Don't. Oh, we got Robin. Hold on, let me bring Robin in. Hold on, let me switch to a dynamic scene and bring Robin in real quick, so we can just get this shit right. We looking at Robin ceiling, but that's all right.
I'm sorry. The moment you
You
sent
lit?
me,
Oh, that's right. You got a newborn. Congratulations on
Oh
the
man,
new
congrats,
baby.
Robin.
thank
That's
I
what's
you.
forgot.
up.
So he a week old tomorrow, right? Or he or
He's,
she.
he's a week old.
You sent pictures, but I never. I don't know nothing about babies, right? So
Yep, she turns 7 days tomorrow.
that's what's up. Congratulations.
That's
So, I
what's
mean,
up. That's
I
what's
forgot.
up.
I don't even mean to bring you
What's her
into this
name?
shit.
What's her name, Robin?
Raven.
Raven.
Okay, I can
That's
work with
dope.
that.
That's what's up.
I got baby fever right now, so you got me. You know what I'm saying? Listen, bro, I got super baby fever. I was 2 months ago. I didn't give a fuck about nobody's kids on the internet. I'm like, get them kids. I don't see your babies. I'm taking vacations where kids can't go. I'm trying to see how much a Disneyland pass costs for the family, right? Like I'm on some different shit. So
Yes, sir.
you got me with the baby.
Yeah,
Yes,
as
What's
soon
what?
as
sir.
I seen you post, you was like, anybody with a baby that's less than a year old, you saw I came in with pictures.
Man,
Like, here I
100%.
go,
Hey,
Kai.
hey, you got a baby less than a year old, you getting a like from me. If your baby a year and 2 months, you got to wait till my grandson older. You know what I'm saying? I'm in a different
see,
phase,
see,
bro.
that's that thing. And that's because you put yours first, right? That's
I
just
mean, you
natural.
put yours first. So
Yeah,
Robin, you
yeah.
have a brand new baby, right? And you have your other
Oh,
children,
so
right?
she the perfect candidate for this
Right. You
conversation
cannot
here.
tell me
That's
some
why I was like,
motherfucker
hey,
can
Despo, I need to get in on this.
listen.
Yes,
You can't
sir.
tell me some motherfucker can pull up and and be like, okay, listen, I just had this baby, I carried this baby, I went through. Obviously, you've had a couple kids before this, so you know the process.
Yeah.
I've had I haven't had, but my wife had a couple of my kids. Bro, can't nobody kids measure up. I can't understand it. Ain't no way you can sit here and tell me you carried that baby for 9 months and 3 years from now you gonna love somebody else's kid like you love your own. Can we be honest with that one for a little bit?
Now,
Yeah.
I mean, when I jumped on the podcast tonight, I came in at the asshole end. So I was like, oh, okay. I was thinking that like you were speaking as far as like stepchildren goes, blended
You can
families.
love them. You can love them all day.
Well, yeah. I mean,
But
it's in
but
a
it's a
woman's
difference
nature
between
to.
loving somebody else's kid and loving your own,
I
right?
mean, I don't know. When I got married, I literally treated his
Treated.
kids the same that
Treated
I
is
treated
not
mine.
Yeah. No,
I
you can.
treat
Yeah.
everybody like they're the same, but
Yeah.
everybody is not the same,
Yeah,
right?
because you can you did that because you can. But if you had to make a choice to prioritize, you're gonna prioritize your own. Like if you just had your baby, you just had your daughter. If they would have brought in somebody else's newborn daughter,
Yeah, now
I
that
mean,
I'd be like, okay, now what the fuck is this?
no, where's my daughter at? That's what you
Right.
know what I'm saying. Where's I
That's
want
why I
my
said,
But
what
a
the fuck
baby's
is
a
first.
baby
this?
if you
Like,
can love them
Uh,
all the same.
right, a
you brought
baby's a
something in
and
that
you
I know
can't.
for a fact I
If
didn't
they
give
would have
birth
brought you a
to.
little white baby, you'd have been like, "What's going down?"
What the fuck is this?
Right?
Look,
Whose baby
so
is this?
look, that's the reality of the conversation. We only saying that because it's easy to act like what? It's easy to show up to an event, a family event with six black kids and three of them from me, three of them from you, and nobody's gonna say nothing because so we can play that role. But when you show up with three white ones, two mixed ones, and somebody know it ain't, come on, man, it's gonna get uncomfortable for you. You know
Listen,
what
bro,
I'm saying?
I can't walk down the street with a Chinese baby without getting looked at funny, right?
Right,
Yeah.
I mean,
as
just
you
keeping it
should,
real,
right? And
right?
so you're not gonna, and that's why when you just can't do that. If we start mixing and matching, it will be easy, right? We matter of fact, if that was really real, that would cure so-called racism right there. Let's just mix
Hundred
the
percent,
kids up. Let's mix the families up.
hundred
Everybody
percent.
love everybody. Say you can't,
I mean,
you
people,
can't do
bro.
that.
I've talked to people and respectfully who said, "Listen, it's cool that you do the interracial shit. I need my kids to look like me." I can't be mad at that, right? That's how you feel. But if you want your kids to look like you, there's nothing wrong with that. But that means you damn sure don't want some kids that don't look like you because they not your kids, right? We gonna treat our kids differently.
But I mean, so they ain't like interracial kids, biracial kids can't look like
What,
you.
what what they mean is the same skin tone, right? Right? Like,
Okay,
bro, I'm
okay.
in an interracial
This
relationship.
man got lost.
But I,
I
but
would
I, but
not date a chick who had kids that was not mixed or black.
Huh?
If I had to date again, and a
Uh-huh.
chick had kids, if
Uh-huh.
those kids are white or Mexican or something other than black or
Okay.
I can't walk around looking like you just. They got to look like they might be mine for me
Well,
to
you know
feel
what?
comfortable.
Okay, I get that part, but this is still an interesting conversation because you can have with so-called black people, you can have two dark-skinned parents and a
100%.
yellow kid. You know what I'm
You,
saying? So I
I'm gonna
mean,
check
there's
that
no
shit too though.
real.
Like that, you can, but we're gonna
it
have to
happens all
prove
the
that one.
time. No, it happens all the time. I'm saying like,
Well, I went to school with two chicks who were mixed. One was high yellow like my kids, the other was darker than me. Right? I mean,
yeah, and they have the
I'm
same parents. I got
they had the same. Daddy was white. I would have checked, but you know what I'm saying. Nonetheless, right? There's certain shit you got to prove. Like I trust you, but this evidence looking real suspect, right? Like I trust you, but maybe you were sleeping when some shit went the other way. I don't fucking
man.
know.
Nah,
Um,
it was a bunch. It was a bunch of little jokes that was being thrown out when we was in the hospital because she came out super light.
hey,
He
you know what's
looked.
crazy, bro?
He looked.
Not
He
not.
was like, "She got my nose," but that's
I mean,
what was
babies
he
come out
doing?
light,
Yeah,
right?
And I
yeah,
looked at him. I
I
was
yeah,
knew
like,
yeah.
"Did
a
you
I
shut
knew a
up talking
bro
to me?"
back in the day. He was messing with a white chick, and he was a big motherfucker, bro. He's a big motherfucker. That baby came out white than a motherfucker. They said the doctors looked at him like, "We just gonna walk out of here and y'all had this motherfucking conversation." The baby was not his, right? Uh, I can't. I just for me personally, bro. I don't. I I don't know. I'm talking a little shit because my grandson bright than a motherfucker, right? Because his mama mixed and his daddy white, right? He a little
Yeah.
bright dude. I used to make jokes. I'm like, man, I'm gonna take him to the grocery store and act like I stole him and shit, right? Because I expected him to be bright white, but he got a little more color than I expected. But me personally, bro, if I was in that situation, I could not date somebody who had kids that looked like they could not be mine.
Yeah.
That, and I know it's stupid. It's stupid as shit, but
I
that's
don't
my
think it's
rule.
stupid. I think it's you. If we gonna play the game, then it
We
still
gotta
gotta
have
make
rules.
sense. It still have to, yeah, it has to make sense. And it just doesn't make sense to me that a person would. I'm not gonna believe it. I don't care what any woman says. She can say that I love your child or your children the same way as I love my own. I'm not gonna believe it.
I
I,
mean, I'm not either, bro.
Well, I mean, when you broke it down in that aspect, as far as bringing in, like after I had Raven and they brought in a new baby, yeah, no, you're
That's the
right.
reality, right? You got to hit motherfuckers with shit that make you
yeah,
think. Like I told a chick earlier, I'm like, if it's a house fire and it's a small chance you can save yours and a big chance you can save a stranger's baby, who you going after? I'm going after mine,
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
right? That's who we are. That's because
yeah.
we love our kid more. If it was just like, hey, there's a kid I can save, I fucking flip a coin and pick
I
one.
mean, like, yeah, if it was enough time for me to save both, of course I'm going
Right,
to. But
but let's
if
be
it was
honest
like,
about who women
my
are.
child is downstairs, but somebody else's child is upstairs, and the fire is in the middle of the stairs, yeah, me and my child finna get the fuck
Let's
out.
be honest
Right.
about who women are. Right, I'm gonna throw a crazy fucked up hypothetical. Right, let's just say this is crazy hypothetical, not your baby. Just using this as an example. Some motherfuckers like, hey, listen, you can save your child, or you can save these 1,000 kids you don't know. Who you saving? Most women are gonna save that kid that they know.
Nah, I gotta save mine.
That's the reality, right? You
Yeah,
might get a
yeah.
man to be logical, like, man, this is kind of fucked up, right?
Because I
No,
mean, then you
no,
gotta realize
You
no,
the
might.
women too.
no.
And then
Best
you
case
gotta realize,
scenario is a
Uh-uh.
might.
You
and
can
then
say
you
a
gotta
million.
realize,
You can say a million children. I'm saving mine.
and you still gotta realize. I mean, we had a really strict time clock on when we can carry, like
And even the
healthily.
clock, it's the fact you carry. Like I that's like okay. Again, I watched my daughter have a baby in her belly from a little bitty bump, even before it was a bump. Right when they told her she was pregnant, I was like, oh shit, right? Like this is cool, right? I'm with this shit. I thought I was gonna freak the fuck out. I didn't. I'm like, this is cool, and I watched the baby grow, right? And I'm like, ain't. And then I look at my daughter because I see her damn near. Matter of fact, I don't think there's a day that went by. I lied. There's probably one day that went by that I didn't see her since she had the baby because I was out of town, right? I look at the way she look at her kid. I'm like, ain't no fucking way. She gonna look at anybody else's baby that way, right? And she works with kids, and that's not a knock on her, right? Like her, that's a life that grew in you as a woman. I can somewhat give a dude a fucked up pass, right?
What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean by
Like
that?
you ain't been around your kids, so you love this other kid so much, right? Possibly.
It don't. It don't. As a man, I can't. It don't go that way. You know what I
I,
mean?
I I'm throwing possibles out, bro. Right? It's like having all jacks and trying to call it a possible in the spades hand, right? You know what I'm saying? Whatever. But
Oh, Kai, we got to talk too.
you don't want this heat.
You
Um,
you might be a little irritated.
we're gonna have to talk
No,
about that. We're gonna talk
it's
about
not
that one
Mike.
different.
Yeah,
But
you gonna be a little irritated.
so I don't know. This shit is crazy, bro. But so I wanna shift subjects a little bit. I was talking to the homie Cho on Facebook, and we was talking about chicks, and I told him flat. I said, bro, right now everybody body count high at our age. You ain't getting no motherfucker with a respectable count if she or he's single for a long time.
What's a respectable count?
That's on you. You chose that. You choose that number.
No, I'm saying I'm asking you. What's a respectable count?
Bro,
for
you know me. I don't honestly. I don't give a shit. Like to me, that
I know you don't care. So that's what's respectable.
for me, it don't matter. Here's why it don't matter.
To
Right?
him, it doesn't matter. So really, that question should be directed.
I'm
At
gonna tell you why it don't matter. Because a chick with 100 bodies might be better than a chick who had 3. Because bro, there's times I had to grab my girl by the hair, like don't kiss my fucking kids. I was there last night. You know what I'm saying? We've been together a long time. Right? It's certain shit when you've been like I don't know if I'd rather have a motherfucker been in a long relationship or a motherfucker been in a bunch of new ones.
Man, give me the low
Bro,
one every time.
It sound good.
No,
Right?
I'm saying because I'm saying even biologically, every time you
I
mate with
feel
somebody,
you, but
then,
bro, do you like when I'm not going into details, we with a motherfucker a long time, bro. She
I
done
know
some
what you're
nasty
saying.
shit.
No, but hey, I tell you what,
kiss my
a,
fucking kids. I was there
a
last night.
person,
Don't kiss my kids with that goddamn mouth.
a person that's been with 100 niggas, you ain't finna convince me that you kept it cute with 100 niggas.
You didn't keep it cute, but goddamn, she probably has some limitations.
I doubt it. If you ain't, if your limit is you actually a no limit soldier. If you got 100 bodies, you
I
will
mean,
you
you
will do
actually, but
anything with anybody.
you got to think about it though too, because I was actually having this conversation with a couple of my coworkers before I went on maternity leave. And bye, ma'am. Love you. Good night.
How the conversation go? You got me. You got them. I'm hung up on how it went.
I'm sorry, my 6-year-old was right there. I can.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, yeah. Don't say nothing in front of the kids now. Don't. You know what I'm saying?
So we was actually speaking, and a couple of the women, and this is kind of backwards to me. They were saying that they would give up the pussy before they give up the mouth, like they didn't care. And I was like, wait, what? I was like, so you give them? I mean, it's all one and the same,
Hold
in
on.
my
What? I
opinion.
need to ask. What these chicks look like? Skin tone.
White actually.
What
They
their
said what
boyfriends and
now?
baby daddies look like? Skin tone.
One of them was black. The other girl, she's married, but she was saying before she got with her husband, and her husband's white. Um,
What's the
Here-
statement again?
She rather give up the guts than the lips, right?
they said that the lips is too intimate.
So I'm gonna say that's and the reason I asked the skin tone is I've heard a lot of stories where a lot of chicks, white chicks especially, like they virgins but they facing their ass not. I'm saying
So you're not a virgin. So you're not.
you a
a virgin.
vaginal virgin, right? By
There
I
is
mean
a such thing as that.
that's real, right? That's what we count when it comes to virginity, right?
I don't know. I don't know. It don't count as virginity to me.
That's what the book say. God damn it, a virgin has
What
not
the
had
book?
sex.
Hold on.
Sex.
See, we
I'm just
still
saying the
going
rule
off
book, bro.
What's the rule book?
The
What
rule
book
book
you
is the
talking
rule
about?
book. I ain't saying
know
the
you got-
Bible. I'm just saying listen.
Okay.
If
that's
you
made up.
okay, let me put it this way: if a
If
chick
you've
has
been-
had
if
sex
you've
with a
been-
man before you, she's not a virgin.
If you've been penetrated, you are not a virgin,
Penetrated where?
bro.
I'm just saying. That's why I asked. But hold on, I'm still in the thunder. So Robert was going somewhere. My bad. I don't want to. We're gonna go back to that though.
man.
Yeah, because that's what I want to hear his. I want to hear what he got to say.
Man, no, but go ahead, finish your. Okay, so they said what's their reasoning behind this?
They said the mouth was too intimate.
What do they mean is too intimate?
Like,
Like
I guess you got to look.
like it's sacred or something?
Yeah, that's good.
I mean,
I was wondering the same thing because in my opinion, I was like, it's all one and the same. If I'm doing one, I'm probably gonna do both.
There's actually more risk the other way. The
Hey,
vaginally
listen,
is
I've
actually
always
more
said
risk.
I don't put my waist where I can't put my face. That's just who the fuck
That's what
I
I'm
am.
saying. Like it doesn't make
That's
sense.
exactly what I was thinking because I'm like, that don't make sense though. Like how?
But it does to certain people, right? Like I think it matters to some men what that woman has done before them, right? Like
It does matter.
so
You
from a
can
certain
always say it don't matter to you because of your situation,
bro,
God.
I know the nasty
You
shit I
been
do with my
saying
wife, bro.
for 30 years.
Right. That's what
Listen.
you're speaking from that, right? So
You're
you
right.
you
Don't
can
nothing matter to you because you're not leaving her.
like
But I'm just
right,
saying, like, I look at
bruh.
this shit and I'm like, bro, I don't know if I had to touch these streets. I don't know. I want a motherfucker
Okay.
been long term because I know what long term
Nah,
do.
I mean, of course, yeah, that's what because that's how your mind works, right?
Right, that's how my mind works.
Right,
Like,
right.
you know
But
what I'm
I'm
saying?
saying that I'm saying you can't quantify that. It doesn't matter. The number doesn't determine what you've done or what you have not done.
No, right?
Cause you,
But
it's all, that's what I'm saying. I'm only going off the mileage.
but
I'm only
on the
going.
flip side, bro, if she was with a dude for 20 years, like I look at this shit different. She not gonna really give a fuck about you. You just because he ain't there, you are. Right? I don't know. So I look at this shit different. Right? If a chick was with a dude for 20 plus years and then they break up for whatever reason, breaking up is the best option. If he passed away, you ain't really she don't give a fuck about
Right,
you.
but I'm saying is I'd rather if the choice is a chick that had one dude for 20 years or 20 dudes in 1 year, man, give me the
Yeah, but
girl
bro,
that had one
you
dude
couldn't
for
do
20.
20 dudes in 20 years. Like why you had to flip it
Yeah,
like
why
that? You know
can't
what I'm
why
saying?
you-
Because
come
I'm
on.
saying I'm saying if we got to go with both
All right,
extremes here.
can we be and this is our normal catch hell. I don't
Hurry
think
up.
there is a woman out here. Well, let me rephrase that. There's not many that ain't in the triple, not triple, in the high doubles, right? With a 3 start. I'm just looking at what I see, bro. And
You
I'm not
said no,
talking
okay.
young.
You said they're not many. Okay, I would agree that there's not
I don't.
many.
I
There
don't think I
as
know it's a
compared to the
bunch, but
collective.
it's
No,
not.
when he said triple, that was when my face was
I
like,
did. I was
oh.
thinking 3 and I
No,
said
not
triple, but I wanted to bring it back.
no double. Yeah,
I do
That's
know girls that are in the triple digits. I had some at a party one night. We was all talking, and one time somebody's like, "What's your body count?" She was like, "Man, I stopped counting at about 100." Right, and I'm just like,
God.
damn.
I mean, I guess at that point, why continue counting? Right? It's not like you shooting unless you're shooting for a higher number, where the number don't matter.
I'm saying what can you get out of that many people like that you can't?
I think her
understand it.
problem. She's a very attractive young lady, and her problem is I think she only knows. She thinks you find love via sex, right? And that's a problem, right? Like when she's with a dude, but she gives the pussy up too early, and then dudes
And
be
she's
like,
in triple digits, so she been with her. So she thought she loved 100 niggas.
I think she tries to get love with the pussy, bro. I think she leads.
100 times.
I don't make the rules, bro. I'm just telling you what she told me. If she lied, she probably didn't lie up.
No, I'm just,
You know what I'm saying?
just befuddled.
You know what
I'm
I'm saying? Bro,
befuddled.
I think we have a misunderstanding of what numbers are today. Right?
What's the misunderstanding, Kai?
I think we believe they're a hell of a lot lower than they are. Right? I think we believe that there's a chick out here that's 35 with 5 bodies. Right? She might be, but she was locked down for some while. You know what I'm saying? This is
Yeah.
if you've been
Yeah.
single for some decades, right? You probably your numbers is probably higher than most motherfuckers want to think. Again, I'm not a numbers dude. Don't matter to me. I know you say it don't matter because I'm not in a situation, but I don't think it would matter to me, bro.
You don't think it would matter. That's
I
a
don't think it
fair
would matter to me.
statement. But to say
Who is
like,
more?
it
Who's
don't
important?
matter.
For me, who is more
God.
important than how many?
No, you
One bum ass motherfucker, and I'm gonna look at you like you are a fucking horrible person.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
That's fair too. But what I'm saying is
He said
that
one bum ass
for
motherfucker.
you're talking about like you speak from a perspective of if I was to leave my wife and somebody was to get her, I would be a hell like all the stuff I did to her. I don't see she ain't gonna be worth much to them.
I'm
right?
not
Yeah.
saying that it's worth, but it's like you if you worried about what happened before you, like God damn, she the wrong one.
I'm saying there's not too much of a difference in like, okay, me imagining what she's did in a 20-year relationship versus what me imagining what she's did with 20 niggas
If you
is
had
not
20
that
dudes,
different.
though, it is to me because like unless you just straight up nasty out the gate, there's certain
I'm saying
shit
at
you
least
probably not comfortable
I'm
with.
saying at least 5 of them dudes is gonna get you to do everything that the dude, the 20-year dude, would have got you to do. At least 5 of them. So
Okay.
basically, I'm quantifying it by 5.
So you
Still,
say it's 5 of them that did all that shit instead of one.
right.
Okay.
I
If you
just rather had the one. Give me the
right.
one that got
Okay.
just the
Okay.
one, dude.
I'll give you that. I
It's
mean, if that's how
inevitable.
you looking at it.
I'm
I
just,
don't know.
I'm just
I look at this shit like again. I know
I'm
because I'm
saying
not in
if
the
you got
situation.
if you got high numbers, then I only can look at my. I can't. I'm not special to you. So ain't you know what I mean? Like
But you, I
it's
mean,
gonna be
are you?
many
I
after
mean,
me.
listen. None of us are at this point. You're not the first choice, no matter what. Right? You're not the first choice unless you took the virginity. You're not the first choice. That's the
I'm not
reality.
gonna believe. I'm not gonna believe I'm the first choice for anything, though. Is what I'm saying. If you
Right.
got
So
20
I
niggas,
mean, are you special or are you just fitting in? Like that's just reality.
that
Right?
is reality.
I
I
mean, so you're not
said,
going to be
but
special. I
I
don't think.
got a. I
I
said I
think
got a better.
special is
I think
earned. Right.
right. I got a better chance of being special with somebody that was in a long term relationship than I do with somebody who has been in
I
multiple.
think your competition for the relationship is way harder because you got a one person that you have to that has done.
That's if you competing with that,
You
right? I'm
have to
not
compete,
competing
bro.
with.
You
I'm not.
you
No, I
reality is you
don't.
compete.
Not in life.
Anytime that you enter anything with a female, you are in
No,
competition.
it's not just a female. It's a man too. If you
Very
dated a
true.
chick and you get with a new chick and
No,
she don't
right.
do
But
shit you need, she's not. She's
no,
not. It's a competition,
naturally, we're going to draw comparisons as the individual, right? We're going to
right?
naturally draw comparisons. But what I'm saying is that I, as an individual, am not competing with it. I won't compete with it. You know what I mean? Because that's not. You can't measure. You can't measure up to a past experience. There's no way you can measure
You
up to that.
damn sure can't measure up to a decades long past experience,
I'm
right? And
saying,
that's what
look,
I'm saying. Like you can.
even if it was a 10-year relationship and it was abusive,
Oh, that's different, right?
neglectful, but I'm saying that I still cannot. That's still going to hold more weight than that this positive relationship that she has with me. She's still going to. That's going to affect our relationship more. It's
I
no way
guess
around it. No
what
matter
I'm
how good
saying
I am to it.
is I'd rather fuck with a hoe than a widow. Just keeping it
You
real.
would, because you that type of guy, right? Because you
I'm
don't.
just keeping it real,
Yeah, you
Love
right?
God.
would.
I'd rather fuck with a hoe than a widow because she loved him. He left unexpectedly. He's not right. If she had years with a dude and he left, she ain't over that, right? Like
You saying
if she had
long term, you would rather build if this was the end of the road, you would have built something with a hoe than a widow. Is what you saying?
I mean, I feel like I had a better chance with the hoe than the widow.
I don't.
Granted, he ain't coming back.
Great
Right? We
conversation.
know
though.
that,
Great conversation, but I don't. I don't see.
and that's cool, right?
I see what I mean. I'm not gonna act like I don't understand it at all, but I'm just saying ultimately when you put it, because I'm saying she gonna have so much more to deal with to try to compare you. She's comparing you to 20 different. You know what I'm saying? Like come,
That's
like
really only at a sexual level, right? Because chances
not
are the motherfuckers didn't take her
no.
nowhere, they didn't do nothing, right? So if,
No, it's still gonna be that's still emotional for women though.
I understand, but it's the emotions wrapped around sex, right? Like,
Right.
and I don't know. I
But I'm
guess
saying
we all
if it's easier for this person to rationalize that it is going to be a process with somebody that is no longer here, right? We both understand
right.
that going into the situation. We both understand that this is going. But I would honestly, I wouldn't want to do either. Honestly,
Okay, I can fuck with that, right?
It's just too much on both ends.
Hey, we know. Hold on, we know we didn't get to touch on, bro. And I'm gonna drop for me personally. I'm gonna step out for about a minute, and we're gonna come back to him. I'm gonna let you and Robin talk for a second. We didn't get a chance to talk about old boy that got his hair braided, the teacher dude that was getting his braids taken down.
I want to talk
Give me
about
a second. I'm gonna let you and Robin chop it up real quick. I'll be right back.
But I'm interested in that conversation.
I'm definitely interested in that one because that kind of made my blood boil. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, I wasn't feeling it. I thought it was literally it just showed where we at as a culture. It just kind of exposed us as a culture, like how we
But
think
it's funny
about.
though because a lot of our culture is actually coming out like, why did he get fired? Because there's videos on top of pictures on top of everything else of female teachers getting their hair done, white, Hispanic, like
Yeah,
everybody
yeah,
getting their
it's
hair done by young
right.
ladies in school. But this man couldn't get his hair done, and he wasn't looking at them. His eyes stayed forward. So what was
And he
inappropriate
recorded
about
it. He recorded it. So I agree. It is a lot of us who are standing on business, right? Which I appreciate. I'm saying that it literally exposed that side of us that really has a really a deep issue with our image, the image of so-called black men. I think it's just like it's a group of us that need to be exposed for their own traumas or perversion, so to speak, because that's where it all stems from. Those thoughts, your own personal perverted past thoughts.
All right, I'm back in. I'm back in it. So and forgive me because I stepped out for a hot second and I didn't hear what y'all had, but one of my guys sent me a message with that. He's like, man, I know me and you agree on this, and we don't agree on a lot of shit. He's like, I know we agree on this. Dude should have got fired. I'm like, I don't agree. Right? I didn't look at that shit because I don't look at everything between a man and a female, a male and a child as sexual.
Wait, so
Right? If
let
it
me
would have
ask
been
you.
one girl, right, and no camera, and somebody's like, oh, dude, then I have a little concern. Right? But I'm like, we gotta find ways to bond with these kids, bro. And that's what I saw. It's like dudes bonding, no different than when I see a teacher with a line of kids and she dapping them all up or giving them a hug or whatever. Like I didn't see that, but motherfuckers flipped out, and every motherfucker that said that was wrong was the same dude. Was like, I don't understand why a woman would rather be in the forest with a bear than a man. You see men as predators, bro. Like for you to think that something was wrong,
You see men as
you
predators.
see men as predators, and that's
That's
okay if you do.
yeah.
Right? But I didn't see that situation that way. I was
I
like,
just bro, like the fact that they literally teach cosmetology in high schools and schools across the country. Like, well, who do y'all? And the fact that if we added a little bit of context, right? If we just a hypothetical context, meaning that nobody would have, no man would have a problem with their daughter taking up cosmetology as a profession, right? Opening her
right.
own, you probably invest in it, right? And she's going to be dealing with a lot of male clients, right? What would be the difference?
So that's what I asked my guy, right? 'Cause I'm like, bro, you've had braids. Is it sexual when a chick braids your hair? If so,
Right.
then
That's
then your
what is
girl probably shouldn't let you get your shit braided
that,
by somebody else.
that's what I'm saying. Like I would
Like, at,
man, I would not let a man braid my hair.
so so then it's sexual.
No, it's not. I'm saying
It's not
by
let I ain't got no
it's
hair, but I used to let a
cultural.
man cut my hair.
It's cultural. It's cultural is what it is.
But so I asked my guy, I said, bro, when you go to the barber shop, is it sexual? Because that's a dude in your hair. He's like, nah, it's just a job. I'm like, well,
Right. It's cultural. Right. It's a cultural thing. That's what like. Most of the time, men that end up having their hair braided by men are in prison. Right.
you got a
no.
point.
But
No,
I'm
you
saying
got a point.
and you know why it's not looked upon as it's not problematic because
There's no
it's
fucking
a culture.
right.
Right.
There's no
There's
women
no
there to braid
women.
your shit.
It's a culture in there. Right. So
But
I could believe that it's not sexual. You know what I'm
I don't
saying?
know, bro.
Like
If you in a joint braiding hair, you might be the motherfucking girl,
you
right?
You
might be.
intentionally
You
getting
might,
bent over.
what I'm saying is
But I
that
feel what you're saying. It's
you
acceptable
can make that
because
argument because something like what you know what I'm saying. So out here though, in a free culture, quote unquote, then we know typically men cut hair, women braid hair, typically,
right.
right?
There's
But
exceptions, but the normal shit.
right, and it's cultural. That's all I'm saying. So I'm like, and here's the thing: if you were if it was a woman sitting in that seat, then they try to make it about they're trying to say it's inappropriate because he's on the job or he's a teacher, right? But if it was a female teacher, it wouldn't have been problematic. Y'all wouldn't have been
No,
talking about bondage and
because
nothing
we
like that.
see men as predators,
Right.
and then we
That's the
get mad,
conversation.
right? Like dudes, every dude that I know that was like he should have got fired is the same motherfuckers that was not understanding when women saw men as predators. Like it's crazy,
You know
right?
what? You know what's interesting about this whole thing? Well, one of the things that's interesting about it is that when things go left with our kids in the school system, we always talk about how we need more black men in the schools, right? But
Man,
then this is literally the reason why I tell you, for one, me, I'm not going nowhere near no school
me either,
for
bro.
that for that reason.
The
Like I don't
risk
got
ain't
time for
worth it.
that. It ain't worth it at all. I ain't got time for that. That's just one of the risks that you got to be. You got to be deemed as a pedophile because you bonding with like you're engaging in and letting your students engage in a life skill while you
I mean,
document it.
I
Like
think
what
for a
the
lot of
fuck?
men, bro, it was how they would have taken it. Right? That's how I look. I'm like, you might feel that way if you had some young lady, but I think it's also dudes who struggle with women, right? So everything with a woman is sexual, right? And that's what I said to my homie, like, bro, everything ain't sexual, right? Like it don't have to be. You're making that shit that way, right? Now, once you make it that way, then of course that's how it is. But
And that's what it is if you make it that way.
it don't have to be. And I'm like, bro, when I went to the barbershop, I went to fucking barbershop. It ain't sexual. This motherfucker, he's doing a service. Right? Those again, if it had been one girl, no camera, and somebody was like, I recorded this shit on the low, I might look that shit different. Like, but bro's putting it out there for the world to see, which is saying, hey, I ain't doing shit wrong. Right? I know how society is. I ain't doing shit wrong. I'm gonna just let the world see this happen. But you know what's crazy, bro? And this is what I said. I think it was on Joe Post. I'm like, or it might have been on yours. Like, we can't wait to uphold some bullshit, but we will tear down the decent motherfuckers we have. Like, it's I don't know, bro. That shit's crazy.
No, this is the conversation that we need to have, though. Honestly, I'm gonna be honest. Like, we need to really dissect this and unpack these type of conversations because it's really about how we look at each other. Let's just be honest. We don't see as a culture. We don't trust each other. We don't look at each other as valuable. We look at each other as the image that is fed to us via the media that we love to consume.
Bro,
you know what I mean? So
me and my guy, we go around every day, like damn near every day about. I think I said something to him. I'm like, bro, you gotta stop pretending all black women are fucking horrible, right? And and what I mean by that, I say you have this negative view, like the majority of black women is, and it's always negative shit. I'm like, do you realize we hate each other so fucking much? Like, we expect our women to be better than us, right? And what I mean by that is, I asked him, I said, what race of men or what race of women are doing better than that respective race of men? Right? None. Right? So we get mad that a lot of sisters is not doing as good as we'd like them to, but look at the leaders. Right? I take responsibility, bro. We are not the leaders we were 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago. Not saying that the shit
collectively.
Collectively, right? I'm not saying the individuals, right?
Yeah.
I'm not saying that there were not bad leaders or but bro, like right now, I don't know. I'm a little harsh on men. These motherfuckers is bitch made, bro. It's just
we tolerate way too much. You know what I mean? Like, if
it's a different breed of men.
If we were being the leaders that we needed to be collectively, then our children would be in the condition they're in, and our women wouldn't be in the condition that they're in either. You know what I mean? Because what we would have done is ousted the men who were contributing to the degradation of the culture, right?
100%.
We would have took our rightful positions and corrected the women who were being combative and getting out of control. And we definitely would have redirected the children. The children wouldn't be in that condition because we would manage our households better, right? We
100%.
we wouldn't have children we wouldn't quit on our families, you know what I mean, too easily.
Man, motherfuckers do it quick too.
We would assert our authority that we do have, because that's one thing that I didn't always do. Like, I just pretty much was like, man, I ain't dealing with the bullshit. But you don't have to deal with the bullshit. You can manage the bullshit.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you have authority until you give it up. You know
Until
what
you
I'm
give it
saying?
up, 100%.
And once you give it up, and then your family goes astray, they go out here and have these different experiences, then it ain't gonna never be the same. You know what I'm saying? So I do agree that it really starts with us. I just think now the responsibility falls on all the adults, both men and women.
100%, bro. I think we have to look at each other, not just try to hold women accountable, but hold each other accountable. Not just me saying to some motherfuckers, hey man, you fucked up, you need to do better. I need to do better too. Right? I got to start with me. Right? I have to do better. I don't give a fuck how good you are, you can still be better. Right? We all got that story. We're like, man, that's kind of fucked up. Maybe we need to talk to the younger kids, the younger gentlemen, younger men, whatever the case may be, younger women, and say, hey, listen, I made this dumbass mistake. You should not make the same. Right?
You know what we do? Not to cut you off, but instead of doing that, we start to compromise with them and say, well, you know what? I understand because I was young once. And
that goes back to that shit I said earlier where the chick was like, just because you're 19 and pregnant don't mean y'all need to get married. I'm like, you need to make these motherfuckers, not necessarily make them get married, but they're trying. Don't get in the fucking way.
Right.
That kid is going to benefit.
You saying that is the reason why they won't get married. You know what I mean?
100%.
If the village was saying like, no, y'all are married. If we don't give a fuck what y'all talking about, y'all married. And that's how we going to treat this situation.
A baby is a larger commitment than marriage will ever be. I have been married a long time.
It is the marriage. It's the marriage.
If my wife decides tonight to pack her shit and leave, I am still a father to those children. I still have to deal with her. If my daughter has another baby, my son gets married, we are both there, right? Like if everything is right. You know what I'm saying?
If I drew up the legislation that would be the law would be literally if you impregnate someone, y'all are now legally married, and that's forever, right? That's what
I
we're
mean, don't
legally.
we have too many? Like we don't. I don't
But
think
you
we
got to
put enough
remember in the
thought.
same breath too, D. There's men out here that's sleeping with multiple women. So what if he gets multiple women pregnant? And
I mean, again,
You're married to all of them, and you are responsible for taking care of all of them. I don't
I
think I think if you were legally responsible for it, and men understood that,
it'll slow down,
it'll slow it down. It'll slow it
bro.
down.
I got a family member. My cousin got at least 13 baby mamas, bro. I'm just like, get the fuck
Hold
out
on,
of here.
what? He got
13
what?
babies or
At
13
least
baby
13
mamas?
baby mamas, right? So he's really
In
a
all in South Bend?
bro. That's the crazy part. This motherfucker ain't left South Bend, right? So the
That's
craziest
crazy.
part when I think about that is I'm like, you have kids that don't know their siblings. They might even fucking be dating. Like it's so
That's
fucking crazy,
That's
right?
crazy to me.
And but I holler at one of my guys. He's like, well, man, it's the lady's fault. I'm like, bro, if I rob 13 banks, I can't complain about the banks having lax security when I'm the motherfucker running in and robbing them. You know what I'm saying? Like at a certain
I
point,
mean, I think it's everybody has a role in
it's
it.
a
You know what I
combination.
mean?
Bro,
But you
let's,
definitely are the. Come on now. I
if
mean,
you don't, there's not okay. I fuck with my kids, right? But there are dudes who don't fuck with the kids to the point where you don't know they got kids, right? So if a chick don't know a motherfucker got kids because he don't fuck with them, you can't be like, well, she should have knew better. Like you can look at his history. He ain't never with
I,
the motherfucker.
I do think there's ways to figure out who you dealing with. I don't.
There are ways to figure out who you're
I
dealing
can
with.
go to South Bend right now, ask about somebody, and find out everything I need to know. You
But
know
if
what I
that
mean?
motherfucker ain't never fuck with his kids, how don't nobody know it? You
See,
know what I
I
mean?
don't know. I just think women be playing crazy sometimes. They be thinking that
Okay, I can roll with that.
he gonna be different
Every
with
now
her.
and then,
Man, we
I'm
had
with
that
you, Jay.
conversation last week. We're like,
Yeah.
hey, he's gonna be different.
Yeah, I mean, like, and I'm not saying that he can't be different, but I'm saying don't play
Chances
crazy.
are.
Don't try to make it sound I didn't know, or people act totally different when, like, nah, like
I mean, don't get me wrong.
but we all
That
know
is
that too.
also the case.
We all know that's a possibility. So why are we playing crazy, right? Like we all
That's what
know
I
that
don't
people
get.
can change. You can even if you a baby aside, you can live with somebody. You can marry somebody and be with them for 20 years, and in the 21st year they can choose to be somebody different,
Bro,
right? That's just
life changes. I
yeah.
am not the same dude that I was when I was 15 years old. Right? My
I
wife's
doubt
not
you
the
just
same
woke up
girl.
different though. I doubt you just woke up different,
No, it's a
totally different.
progression, right?
Right.
Like you gradually change.
That's what I'm
Right? There's
saying.
certain parts of my life where I was like, that's fucking crazy. And then one day I'm like, hey, I understand that shit. Right? Like that's a progression of life. Right? Whether it be political or whatever the fuck it is, like you change, but you don't change overnight. Right? But
Right.
and I think that goes into picking the right person too, because you have to be comfortable enough with a motherfucker to talk about that change.
Yeah,
Right?
but
Whatever that change is.
I think a lot of that is you're not the right person. You're trying to say that, it's not that a lot of times it's not that the person changed, it's that you just now decided to accept the changes that's been going on the whole
Right.
time. You know what I mean? Like
Right. Right.
you a lot of these things you already seen signs of, you already seen the behaviors change. You made them mean you either ignored it or you made them mean something different. But
Right.
they literally were showing you who they. I ain't never. I'm just speaking from my own personal experiences. Everything that I chose to accept at a certain point, I can look back at the relationship and say, you know what? I seen that. I just didn't. I didn't want to term it as what it
Hey.
was. I didn't want to accept it for what it was.
I tell all my guys, I'm like, bro, every time you motherfuckers break up with a chick, I can point out the red flags you ignored. Right?
Right.
I heard a motherfucker say, look for a woman with your ears and then open her eyes and find out if you like her. Right? And that's some of the realest shit.
Facts.
Right? And we are seasoned. I'm not gonna say old, but I got a lot of motherfuckers that are 35, 36, 40, whatever. Like, man, when I get my girl, I'm like, bro, you
You
passed
had
that.
her. You had her.
Every man has had that perfect woman. Some of us left him. Right? That's just the reality. And every woman's had that perfect man. Right? And
The
you
one
didn't
that's
stay.
perfect for you.
Perfect for you. Not
Yeah.
perfect like they never made a mistake.
Yeah, perfect for you. Yeah, I
mean-
believe that. I believe that. Yeah,
Because we all meet that motherfucker, right? We just some of us are like it's I think society plays a
we like
crazy
to
part.
gamble. We like to play. We like to gamble. We feel like, man, if I got this, I can get something better. It's like, no, you can
Listen,
actually make this situation
can-
better.
I tell any motherfucker never and this is fucked up because I did it. I tell them never ever women never date a motherfucker that sell or sold drugs. 'Cause he don't give a fuck about authority. Right? I'm willing to risk my freedom to do some shit I want to do. Your word is probably not gonna be some shit that'll stop me from acting the fuck up if that's what I want to do. right? I'm literally risking my freedom because I want to do some different shit, right? It's like we have to look at
Rationalize that. It's character, right? You
it's
talking about
character, right?
character.
If I am willing, listen, bro, as hustlers don't give a fuck about authority. We know we know as men this is against the law, right? But I'm still willing to do it because I don't give a fuck, right? Because I want to. So ain't shit you can say as a woman that will make me behave in a manner I don't want to behave in because I'm already willing to break rules,
Right.
right?
And
You
you
know
you're
that
willing to
shit.
sacrifice if I'm willing to sacrifice myself, my own freedom,
Your feelings don't matter.
then why you think I'm gonna consider my family? If I don't even consider if I'm considering my family, I know that I'm essential to that. Right. So
Right.
it's the whole why would you mate with a street nigga or a dope boy and try to plead with this person as to why they won't change the trajectory of their life. You know what I mean?
I
Like
mean,
those
it
are the
is,
terms that you met them on. So
I mean,
why would you
100%,
believe it? That you
right?
know what I mean? Like you gotta look at you. Why did you attract that or why did you accept that? That's what I
Why did you
mean.
accept that, bro?
That
And
that's the responsibility that I put on women, right? You know what I mean?
100%.
I put the responsibility of being better men on men. You know what I'm saying? Like giving
But
women
you
a
can also
better array
pick
to
better
choose.
men, right?
Right,
There,
right.
there
But
needs to be
or just
more.
say I'm good on any of it right now. You know what I mean?
See
Like
that's where I start. I don't think anybody, and I think that's a problem. I don't think people naturally really want to be single, right? Like to the point where, and the older we get, I think the more likely we are to take some bullshit on temporarily, right? You know, it's like, it's natural to want to be loved, right? And I think some of us take like for love just because it feels better than being alone. I don't know what it's like to be alone. I have not, bro.
man,
I haven't slept alone, right? Like not having a woman. Tomorrow makes 32 years exactly that I started dating my wife, right? 32 years. I was 15, right? When we started dating. I have been with her longer than I have been with anybody else. Meaning my mom, unfortunately, my mom passed when I was 23. I've been with my woman damn near 10 years longer than I was with my mom. Right? I haven't been alone. I don't think that shit don't sound fun to me.
yeah, but you're talking about 32 years of peace though.
Right. It's not right. It wasn't hell. Right. It was
So
peace.
yeah, so I'm saying
Right.
that like for you, yeah, that makes sense. But for people that don't have successful relationships, what I mean, not then that's a whole different thing. You would rather when I if I had to choose between the hell I went through with certain people and being by myself in hindsight right now,
Right. I'm with
man,
you.
I live for just having peace. So that's why. But your peace comes through vetting the right way, listening with your ears and listening because you know what I mean, like listening
That's
in a
that. We
different way.
don't. We don't. I think
And
as dudes, we are too hung up on. A lot of us are too hung up. And I see dudes talking about this shit all day. I'm a high value man. I need a woman like that. I'm like, bro. First off, like 16% of us make over 100,000, and shit, 70% of them 16 motherfucking percent are married. So there's only a small percentage that are going to be technically. I hate the term high value male. I hate that shit because
but if you associate your value to what you making,
that's what I'm saying. Like
then that's already like
you win it with it,
you're
you
gonna
lose it with
attract
it.
that's shallow energy, so you're gonna attract shallow women. You know what I'm
I had
saying?
that
Like,
conversation with my homie. All women need resources. Okay, I agree. But all women don't need a 4,000, 5,000, six
no,
thousand square foot house. You know what
no,
I'm saying?
no. All women need is vision. A man with vision. Women themselves are resourceful. So a man with vision and a woman who is resourceful can build anything. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
Like and that's where the richness comes. Like you know what I mean? Like you,
Bro, that was
because
a
guess
that was a good fucking line right there, goddamn it. I ain't finished. Hey, I like the way you worded that.
like because you already, but you are the quintessential result of that. You know what I mean? Like you talk about what you and your wife have now, y'all had then. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you talked about how y'all live as far as your economic status that went up, right? But the
Yeah,
values that
absolutely.
the foundation is still the same, and it's
100%.
been beautiful the whole time, right? So it's like
100%.
I don't.
That's
It's
why I
not.
think I struggle when and I'm guilty of it, right? I'm struggling when people are like, fuck that, I'd rather be single forever. I'm like, man, it's because you don't know good peace with a
Yeah,
woman. Like
yeah.
there's no shit that's comparable. I had a conversation with somebody today. They was like, well, you better hope you never have to lose a I'm like, bro, if something happened to my wife, I'll probably never date again. Number one, it wouldn't even be fair to whoever I fucked with. Because the standards I'm gonna expect out of you, you cannot meet. And
Right.
and and
So
I'm only fucking with you because I don't have the option to fuck with her.
and you but you say it all the time, right? Like when you tell your story, about how your wife basically had to speak to you about we heard because you had a vision, right? Your vision was just, hey, I want to make sure my family is good. So however that looks, but your wife recognized you as the resource and redirected that, and then like, look, we just need you. While you do this, we gonna figure it out together. I'm
Right,
gonna be
right.
resourceful, and we gonna figure it. And that's what happened, right? So it was vision
100%.
and resource,
100%.
and that's it. And that's why we need each other, right? You know what I mean? If you got somebody who sees the value in you and is able to speak that life into you, you got a vision. That vision is gonna get clear. You know what I mean? A man with
100%.
vision, right? And then that's when the magic happens. That's the
So,
gold.
and this is a Robin question, not a question for Robin, but a question because you're the woman on the panel. What makes a woman pick a motherfucker that has no potential? Like I don't get it. I don't understand it. I'm okay with picking a motherfucker who has nothing to offer right now, but has potential. But there are a lot of women that will pick a man with no fucking potential, and then later complain because he turned out to be exactly what the fuck he had potential to be. Like your opinion. I'm not saying you. I'm asking as the
I mean, I've been in that predicament, so that's why I'm like, that's the reason why I'm thinking about it. I don't think I don't think the woman actually sees the no potential. Because I mean, you got to realize a man not gonna just walk up to a woman and say, "Yeah, okay, so I don't got no car, I don't got a house, I don't got a job."
but how long does this shit take before you have to realize, okay, I'm taking him everywhere. He don't go home, and this motherfucker free all day. Like that shit
Well,
should take. If you spend 3 weeks with a motherfucker, you ain't been on vacation that long.
What do you see? Like, what do women see then? And what is that? What do y'all see?
we see the potential.
What? Okay,
Like
What potential?
what's the
like
potential?
it's the conversations that's being held, your education level, like not just being street smart but book smart as well. Most of these men know how to talk, so they
Okay,
know.
you recognize that as potential, like the
Yeah,
conversation.
because it's
Okay,
like, damn,
all right,
okay, your conversation is being like, you can
okay.
have an intelligent conversation, you can hold it, and you can
Hmm.
start it. So as long as I can get you around the right people, you could possibly go somewhere with that. And then
So
when you get around the right people and you see that motherfucker fumble, but you didn't already started having sex with him, now
yeah, yeah.
your
So then it
potential.
becomes delusion because what you
Yeah,
saying,
like
I
at
do
this
think
point,
women
it's delusion.
yeah,
are more likely to stay with a motherfucker that once we get to a certain point, say, well, we here.
yeah.
But
So
I
I
also
think what she's saying though is interesting because what it sounds like is that what women see as potential in men is not what men see as potential in other men. You know what I'm
right,
saying?
right,
Like we don't see the matter of fact, we would recognize a motherfucker talking good. It's like, okay, now you gotta show me. That's
right.
you
You didn't
talking
say
is
it.
good. Now you
Right
gotta
now,
show me
do
for
it.
real. Like because I'm usually motherfuckers that do a lot of talking ain't really about what they talking about. So it's interesting that we see things, which is this is I mean this
Hold up,
it's
that's what I'm
important.
saying.
I'm saying that like normally when men like talk good, it's easy for another man to not really believe it because it's like you doing a little bit too much
You got to
talking.
show me, bro.
You gotta show me.
I told motherfuckers in 2024, I'm asking for every proof on everything. If a motherfucker tell me something, I need you to put a name behind it. I don't trust it because bro, words are easy, right? Words are motherfucking easy. But
But
you got to
but
show.
you
Oh, man, I'm gonna
recognizing
do
that,
this. I'm gonna do this in 2024. Okay, so what are you doing right now to get to that point?
yeah. Why did you even say? Why you even feel like you gotta say that? Because why you
Right.
ain't already
Why
demonstrated?
is this year the year? What happened to
So
last year?
right. So we gonna ask. So what we gonna ask the right those questions. Women just right away
It
just like
sound good.
I
Women
see it
hear it and like
and be like
we
that
like,
sound
oh,
good.
okay,
Okay,
well,
you know
see,
what you're
and that's
doing.
the thing, like you were saying earlier, a man with a vision and a resource for woman. We're hearing it and we're like, oh, okay, cool. That's your vision. Well, I know how to set this up for you
Exactly.
the way. And
Exactly.
then when put in the position, it's like,
I mean, but that makes
okay,
sense at 27 and below, right? When you cross a certain set, like, bro, like I said to somebody the other day, I'm like, at this age, don't get me, you should always continue to improve, but you should not be in a situation at 45 years old where barring, we all fall on hard times, shit happens, but the average motherfucker should not be able to buy here, pay here for a whip, right? Like, there's certain shit you don't do at a certain age. Like, and if you do, that's cool, but we have to just realize this is where the fuck we at, right? And I think I don't know. I think we make excuses for shit because we're like, well, this is okay because I like it, right?
But I think what she's saying though, at least what I'm hearing is that Like I think it's okay for women to. That's what we talk about when we say women being women is not a problem. Like if you being resourceful when you hear something, that is not the problem. If you had better men to choose from,
That is
then
true.
that shit would work
Yeah,
out,
like
right?
you
You know what
gotta
I'm
realize
saying?
that's and
So
that's
that's
why
why
I
you
was
need
kind of
fathers, right? If you got a
that's why
father,
True that.
that's kind of why I was letting Kai go off a little bit, but I was gonna cut in because I'm like, okay, 27. Do not get me wrong, I'm 32.
Yeah, you know how old you are, motherfucker?
And
Shit. I thought I was old. Shit, you over here stuck.
I
Just use your fingers and toes.
I really did. I was like 91, 32, 32 for right now. Like, and even me, just now, I'm like, okay, yeah, this ain't what I this ain't what I set you in position for, and you fucking it up. But of course, obviously, the red flags is already bypassed
you
because I'm
pass
like,
that point. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
like it's past
So
that point now. So I'm like, well, okay, well, shit, you blew the first trial. Let's wait a little bit and see if you can
So,
land a
but
fucking
put
second one at
pressure on
this
a
point.
motherfucker. That's what I don't get, right? Like,
but
it's okay to
you
put pressure on a motherfucker,
But bro,
right?
you what I'm saying is we would do that is our I think that's still your father's job to do
A
that.
hundred percent,
Like
bro.
If my daughter's
going
20
through it
some,
now.
30 some, when she come telling me that like, man, I met this guy and he talked like this is what I like about him, I'm gonna ask the right questions. You know what I mean? Like shit, what is he built up to this part? What is he in? You know what I mean? I'm
Even
gonna
then,
ask
I
the
mean,
right
it's
questions.
your job as a father to to put pressure on his ass,
Right, that's what I'm
right?
saying. But I'm also gotta make sure I keep my daughter from falling in that delusion because I know what women will do. You know what I mean? They get because the nigga could talk good. You know what I'm saying?
You know
I
what?
get that.
Like I
I'm with
said,
you
I
on that
mean,
one.
women, like I
That was
said last.
something. I think with my daughter, I was like, man, I didn't have when I was young. I didn't have a lot, right? I didn't see a lot. I seen South Bend and I seen Indianapolis and I seen New Orleans, right? That's where my people were. So I said, for me, I'm going to show my daughter a lot of shit, so some motherfucker with a trip to Miami don't look like a king. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? Like
That's what I'm
Man,
saying.
you gotta
when I
try
tell you,
harder.
when I tell you that fucking conversation came up, and I'm like, so you want a motherfucker to just bounce in with a ticket to Atlanta, and she gonna think that this man is the top of the world? I'm
That's
confused as
that can't happen. But it
like
happens to
I'm
motherfuckers who don't know better.
Right. This is
exactly, and I'm
why.
like, you got to realize, like, I'm raising girls at this point. Like, I have three daughters now. I'm sorry, I almost forgot about her. I have three daughters now. Granted, I'm not their father. She has a really good dad. Don't get me wrong. Like, he's a really good person at heart. But my other two daughters, it's like I got to show them this shit. That way they can know for a fact, like, oh, I already been to Atlanta. I already been to Indianapolis. Oh, I already
You
been to
have to
California.
because we as men will use little. Let's be real. A trip to Atlanta is a few $100 max, right? And you know what I'm saying. You can get a deal on that. You can put a motherfucker on a cruise for $249. You know what I'm saying?
Literally.
Like it don't take a lot to impress a motherfucker. And girls right now, he flew me out. Well, goddamn, it, Spirit Airlines is $39 each way. Shit, you don't gotta
I don't
ball
give a
out.
damn. I don't give a damn if it's 500. If that shit, it could be worth it. If it's hitting, it could be worth it. That's
I'm just
easy.
saying though, right? You can do it for the low,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And you can impress a motherfucker for little or nothing.
But I don't
And you
think
Especially
got
that's
to
if you
realize women are so easy, mostly so easy to impress because, like I said last week, we run off of emotions.
they didn't
It's
see shit.
nothing but oxytocin running through our veins. Every single we turn around. I can start texting you right now, Despo. You can turn around and text me in the morning. Good morning. How did you sleep? And I'm like, he
right.
cares
You know,
about how
Right,
I slept.
right,
When in
right.
hundred
all
percent,
reality, you don't give a shit about how I slept.
100%.
You have one thing in mind, and that one thing in mind
Is
only. And
is
once that
is
one thing
being
is done, it's
manipulative.
like,
It's being
Right.
manipulative. You know what I mean? Like not being a quality man by like you can show concern for somebody or show love or whatever without it having to be cross the boundaries of intimacy, right? Or you can redirect that. Like I've had to do that before. I think that that's the when I talk about the importance of fathers, it's like it's not just about the things you buy, the experiences you create. You have to also make them memorable. It's about that energy that you bring as a father that's going to help her understand like how a man is supposed to. It's about the experience. So that's why you want it to be normal. You want it to be normal that a man as a man, I got it covered. You know what I mean? A
Mhm.
man covers things. That's just normal stuff. That should be normal for you. So when another man does it, you don't accept it. You don't receive it as he's going above and beyond. This is just what
That's just
men do.
normal man shit.
If they want the company of women, like you know what I mean, when you come around me, it's natural, it's provision. Like that's why I'm saying, like I can go if we go out to eat or whatever. As a man, like nah, I got it. You know what I'm saying? Like that
I'm
don't
with you.
mean
I'm
nothing
with
other than I'm just a man. You know what I mean? That don't mean
you. It's
nothing.
man shit.
Now, if you do, I'm sorry that that's the case. Now we need, you know what I mean, and if you're a grown woman, we can discuss it. But as a kid, I think that if that's normal for them, if their father is present, if a young girl's father is present, he's going to make life magical for his daughter, generally
You know what?
speaking.
I'm gonna go a step further and say he's going to be that same man for his daughter and her friends. Right? He's going to be who he is. I
100%.
remember it was I remember one day I was at the crib and my daughter's friend pull up. And she's like, Mr. Brevard, can you change my tire? I got a flat. I'm like, how far do you drive this goddamn flat? Right? But she in front of me, I get out there, I change the tire. That's what a man is supposed to fucking do.
Right,
Right?
right.
And I thought about all the fucking people she know. She came to my house without calling, without asking, right? Because she saw what a man is supposed to be.
Yes.
I
And you
gave
know
her a
what?
hard time while driving on that fucking flat because she drove from
But you
like
know what?
Marion High School on that motherfucker all the
But
way
she
over here.
loved it. She loved it because it sounded
100%.
like a father, right? I guarantee what she came to your house because she always hears her daughter talk about what her dad is going to take care of.
I
You know what
mean,
I mean? Or
that's
I'm gonna call my dad or my dad. You know what I mean? Just the
bro.
natural authority that he has. That's the reason why.
Sometimes I wish I would have been a different dad, right? And what I mean by it is I'm the dad, right? When some shit go wrong, that's when I'm like I gotta handle this shit, right? Like the regular conversations, the general shit, that's mom. I'll let mom run that shit. When shit's bad or shit's uncomfortable, that's my role, right? And that's just a situation. And I don't mean it has to be bad like that, but like a flat tire, or a car ain't working, or right. I'm
Yeah.
who, right? I'm the traditional male role
The
shit. But I
problem
think
solver.
we problem solution provider is how I explain to my kids. I'm like, I'm a
Yeah.
solutions provider, right? You don't have to like the solution, but it's gonna work, right? That's my role. My role is to provide a solution to situations. But I think we lack that, bro, in a lot of men today, right? It's just women
I mean,
don't see a lot of masculinity,
we
traditional
are being
masculinity,
women are being put in positions to where we have to figure it out.
right? And
How
that's
many
that's
women have how many women have y'all heard say, "It's cool, I got it."
I just had this conversation with my boy because he was going in. I'm like, bro, you keep going in on these black women, but I'm like, we are putting these in motherfuckers in a position where they have to be who they are. And I don't mean that like me and you, but I'm like, somebody didn't raise their motherfucking daughter, right? She's in that position because she didn't see what a man was supposed to be, or her mom was fucked up because her daddy wasn't right, right? Like it always. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong, we all are responsible for our choices. But if I grow up seeing some fucked up shit, I'm probably gonna do some fucked up shit.
But where we go wrong at as men, I may have to take some time and kind of re-examine myself as well because I'm not above reproach in this particular situation. But we also reinforce the behaviors that we don't want to see because we engage in feminine behavior. Like we argue with them. You know what I mean? We
Oof,
go back and it's
100%.
like. Man, like that ain't even what men do. Like we already know. Like I say that literally. I'm like, I don't argue with women, but I'm saying we talk about certain topics in culture. I might find myself engaging in banter, going back and forth, and really that reinforces the very behavior that we're complaining about because that's what if you want to create these false realities in your head, go right ahead. I'm a man. I know how this shit is gonna go,
I
and
know
I'm
how it's
just
gonna
gonna
go.
do it. And it just is what it is. I don't have to submit to. I don't have to entertain that feminine banter because of the failures of their men. You know what I mean?
Right.
But we do that. So I think that we just got to take a
I'm
closer
guilty
look at
of it too, bro.
ourselves.
I'm guilty of how, and I catch myself like, you know what? Y'all had this social media shit. Because I was like, man, I found myself doing more arguing with a motherfucker in the Facebook group than I should have. I'm like, you
And
know what? You're right.
trying to justify it as because I think from in my mind anyway, I'm trying to justify it as I'm trying to
I'm trying
educate
to
you and
teach, but
inform you,
it don't come out that
but
way,
it don't come out that way.
It
It never
never
right?
is
comes
because
off that way because one, you're not speaking, you're typing. And
Right.
mhm,
everyone knows you can't express emotion through text messages.
No,
you
I'm
ain't
gonna
gonna
see the
feel
The
you.
emotion I
exact
want.
same thing is like
Yeah,
comments and shit like that on Facebook. You
yeah,
can't express emotions. Yeah, they came up with emojis, but you can put a smiley face at the end of it and the
I mean,
motherfucker
fuck
you
you.
being condescending.
yep,
Like
Right.
yep.
so
You, I mean, and everybody's gonna take this. No matter what you say, people are gonna take it. I posted this shit in the group about listen, because I watch dudes talk about women's body counts and this all this other shit. So I post, I'm like, listen, here's the situation. I'm at my wife 15, blah blah blah, and the motherfuckers like, you must think you better than everybody else. No, all I did was told the truth. I said, where's the lie? Well, there's no lies, but you the way you worded it make you feel like makes us think you better than. I'm like, you picked that shit up. I didn't say nothing but the truth.
Hey, but
But
guess
in the
what?
same breath, what I have learned, and this is key point to how people think today. It's not about what you say; it's about how you made me feel.
That's it. Listen,
Yeah,
if you
And
get
that's
yeah,
the
on
crazy part
fucking
because I
internet and be
could
like,
look at I
hey,
could look at a person and be like, oh well, I don't really like them shoes with that shirt, and that's all I said. But in your head, you heard me say, no, none of that shit fucking match, so you might as well
yeah.
take it
You
off.
dressed
But
like a
that's not
listen,
bum.
what I said.
Yeah,
and me and Despo talked about this a long time ago.
yeah,
We get mad at the truth, right? If a motherfucker be like, hey, you little short, fat, bald motherfucker, I can't be mad at that. That's all reality, bro. That's reality, right? If I get mad at that, I'm mad at some shit I already knew. You know what I'm saying? Like, how can I be
yeah.
upset
And
about the
you,
truth,
man, because is it stopping anything? That's my thing. Like nobody can tell me nothing that's gonna hurt
bro?
my feelings because it ain't
Nothing.
stopping nothing. You know what I mean? Like you can, like, what does it mean in the grand scheme of life? Nothing. You know what I mean?
I
So I
try to
don't have to
have
give it attention.
these discussions with different homies, and they're like, oh man, well, if you ain't 6'4", you ain't. I'm like, bro, these bitches is fucking dudes is
It's not
5'1".
true. It's not true.
You just fall. You've nothing works for
Yeah.
you, so you went to the typical description, right? Like, oh man, these women are shamed. First off, I don't know why men keep saying the word shame. I hate that shit. Oh, she shamed me. No, if
Yeah.
you felt shame, you deserve to be fucking shamed. I don't care who get mad at that
That's what.
shit.
Yeah. I
I
agree.
hate men using
Right.
the term shame. Oh, she out here shame. What did she do to shame you? She said blah blah blah. Bro, if you don't get some fucking nuts, right? Where was if your dad? I grew up in the sticks and stones may break my bones, words never hurt me. So you can talk all the shit you want. Don't put your fucking hands on me, right? Because you either gonna tell the truth, or you gonna tell a lie. That's all you can fucking do.
Yeah, but it's your response to that. Like you gave your control away, and that's when you give it away, people like they gonna use it
Hundred
against you.
percent,
That's just how this shit go. You know what I'm saying? Like
100%.
I just think we make way too many excuses for why we don't restore order in our culture. You know what I'm saying? We could collectively restore order, but we got to
We
demonstrate
don't want to, bro.
we can't even get along as men. You know what I'm saying?
We
We
want
can't
to
even,
be victims. That
like
shit feels better for us. I don't know
I don't
why.
see why. I don't see
I
why.
don't. Because being a victim don't take no fucking work. Right? My
At all.
father sat me down as a young man and said, listen, you are a black man in America. You have to try twice as hard to get equally as far. You can complain about it or you can be about it. Those are your only two motherfucking choices. Right? I'm a man who believes if you can do it, I can do it too. That shit is lost somewhere, bro. I've said that to my fucking homies, like, oh man, just because you did it don't mean I can do it. I'm like, bro, is that your mentality? Because if it is, I agree with you. Right? Like, why in the fuck do you believe that? I've taken time out of my motherfucking day, schedule, family, whatever. Because dudes are like, man, I want to get into the tech field. I'm like, cool, let's do that. And then the motherfuckers drop the ball. And I'm like, you are where you are because of what you're doing. You are. I'm not
And you
saying
know
that
what?
motherfuckers don't want to try for
Also,
themselves.
and a lot of us don't respond well to the confidence of our peers either. You know what I'm saying? Like you rather project your insecurity onto my confidence, but it's like, for me, it's like if a person says, if you think you like when they say we make certain statements like you think you better than some, you know what I mean? It's like, why is that problematic for you that I think I'm better than you, right? You know what I mean? That's that's an opportunity for you to prove me wrong. Then, honestly, if I'm thinking that,
Bro,
like we are men, we have a competitive nature. We are
that's
that's
natural.
it's called keeping each other accountable, right? You know what I mean? If I get better, then you need to compete with me to get better, and I'm gonna compete with that. That we set the standard, and we break the molds. That's what we supposed to do. So why is it a problem when we actually assert that? You know what I mean?
I understand what you're saying, but I've had to say to motherfuckers like, bro, I have more faith in you than you have in yourself, and that's fucked up. Like I've told one of my
Right.
guys, I'm like, bro, I think you're more capable than you do, but you're
And
never
that's
going to achieve the shit you're capable of because you don't believe it yourself. You
But
make
I made a
excuses.
mistake. I made a mistake by carrying that mindset though, bro. I wasted a lot of time with peers that did not deserve that type of confidence from me. You know what I mean? Like
Me
we're
too,
not
bro.
doing that. Like before I put that type of confidence in a man, like that he don't even believe in himself, I'm gonna go find somebody else's kid to speak that life into. You know what I mean? Like I can deal with a kid not believing in
Right,
himself and me saying I believe in you more than you do because
right.
I understand it as a
He's
man. I
young. He's
can't do nothing with
developing.
that. Yeah,
Right.
I can't do nothing with that, man. I
Here's where I'm
I
at
don't get
now.
it.
When a motherfucker tell me they're ready for something better that I can help with, okay, I'm gonna give you a list of shit you got to do before I fuck with you.
Exactly.
When
It's
you get that list done, and this, bro, I'm telling you, this is the technology shit. I talk, man. I'm ready to get. You go register for school. You get these motherfucking classes scheduled. You sit your ass in a chair or virtual whatever, and then come holler at me. But
and
until you do
all
that shit, bro, and
right.
ain't nobody showed up.
So all you're doing is being a father, right? It's the same thing. It's the same. It's rinse and repeat if we when we talking to our daughters and other women. You know what I mean? Have him do something for himself first. Let him demonstrate. So that right there, if he's demonstration plus, and you already because you already know what you see, you already know you resourceful. So if he demonstrates that potential, because the potential ain't enough. We all have potential.
Or you gotta do something
It's
with it.
about, but do you have the ability to apply?
Do you have the desire? Right?
Right. That's
Because
it. The will.
the ability comes with the desire. Right? I've told motherfuckers, listen, I don't want to be a lawyer because I don't have the desire. Right? If I had the desire, I'd do that shit. I don't want to be a heart surgeon because I don't have the fucking desire. Because I
Mhm.
don't have the desire, I'm not gonna do the shit. You have to have the desire for whatever it is you're trying to do for you to actually get there and fucking do it.
Yeah,
Um,
I think the desire goes hand in hand with the ability though, right? I think there's capability. You're capable, and then are you able? Like if you're capable, that means that you have the essentials to be able to make it to possibly do something. But if you are actually able, you know what I mean? Like there's a desire to do it, so that means that it's really within your wheelhouse to
I
do it.
think I
Because
think the capability and the desire creates the ability, right? Like, and I'm speaking for myself. And this is I got to attribute it to my wife because I remember sitting down with her in the fucking '90s and like, man, I want to get in this computer shit. And she opened the fucking phone book, bro, and found the play because that's the age we at. Um, but I didn't have the ability to do the shit I do. I had the capability and the desire, and that pushed me to learn that skill set. I think but where we've gotten today is shit is so fucking simple, bro. That I don't know. Hard work just I don't know, bro. Hard work scares us, right? And I'm speaking generally or collectively. Not there's always this don't apply to everybody,
yeah,
right? But too many of us want a handout. Men, right, want a handout.
entitled.
We like, oh man, you owe me because I had a fucked up life. A lot of people had a fucked up life, bro. Right? If I lay my story out, motherfuckers be like, man, I would have been gave up.
But that's
Right?
perspective too, though. You know what I'm saying?
It
'Cause it's
really
always
is because somebody got it fucking worse.
yeah,
I
in
don't
they
care
mind
how
at least.
bad you had it.
In their mind at least, I just think that I do think that our women need to hold us more accountable. You know what I mean? And not from
But
a
in the
way.
same breath, I can't even agree with that because a lot of men is letting a lot of women get away with a lot of
But
shit.
but hold on, let me jump in, and I don't know what Despo where you was going with it, but men are like safe auto. We're gonna do the bare minimum to get a woman. If y'all raise the motherfucking standards, we're going to meet them. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Yeah,
I
that's
grew
what
up in a
I'm
time
saying.
where you couldn't get pussy if you didn't put in time. It wasn't money, it wasn't flashy. It was you had to take her multiple, not places like you had to do dates and shit. Right? You had to do dates, you had to spend time. I know women today who have children and those women have never been on a date.
Yeah,
That's
you
fucking
had.
crazy.
That's why you had to be because then it was about consistency. Like
Hold
you're
on, let me know.
doing this.
Robin, not you, but think about your friends. You have friends that I know because we have some mutuals that have not been on a motherfucking date, but they not virgins, right? They still fucking, but they ain't fucking going nowhere, right? Like I'm not saying a man has to spend a lot of money, but the requirement to get access to a woman's body is low as fuck
Is
right now,
low.
That's what
right?
I'm saying about
I'm gonna go on a
accountability.
limb and say if I made a post right now and was like, hey, something ain't right with me and my girl, I need a woman to sit down and talk to and cuddle up with, somebody go inbox me, right? With
Definitely.
with no hesitation.
They're gonna do that though because they're gonna do
But you
that
ain't
with you because of who
or
you are
any
with your
man, bro.
kid.
There's no Netflix and chill, right? Like motherfuckers didn't even
Yeah.
that was some
That
shit
became
Man,
somehow that became a fucking date, and I
that's what
never
I'm
understood
saying.
because it
exactly
cost
why.
a dude $12.99 a month and
That,
shit. He get you to the crib,
man,
Shit,
the
that's
just
what I'm
budget.
saying. That
twelve
shouldn't be
ninety
your.
nine. It used to be $5.99.
Yeah,
Nah,
back in the
man.
day,
Netflix is pimping. But look, I'm
that shit
saying at the end of the
22.99. I just
day,
looked at that shit
you know what
today,
I'm
bro.
saying?
Man,
That
it
Like,
shit
came out of
outrageous.
my account today. I was so mad. I was like, "Man,
man,
fuck
it's
that
at the
bro.
end
It's
of the day,
20."
it's like you said, if women set the standard, you know what I mean? Like I feel like men set the tone, women set the standard. You
I
know what
can
I
fuck
mean?
with that.
If you set the standard, you know what I mean, then we like Kai said, then we ain't got no choice. You know what I mean? Now, if we want, if it's gonna be those of us that want who just want to settle for the easy ones, you know what I mean? That's on us. But I'm talking about quality women. If you set a quality standard, then quality men ain't gonna have no problem because that's what we want anyway.
So here's where the problem lies, right? In my opinion, we are very difficult on women. A lot of women made dumbass choices in their youth, right? Got a baby by a motherfucker that ain't worth shit. We are holding them accountable still for that fucking decision because obviously there's shit that goes into dating.
That's life though.
That's life, right? But so a lot of good women are kind of fucked, right?
Why are you considering them a good woman still?
Bro,
I mean, I
because
don't know if you-
listen,
Because
I made
just
fucking
because they
mistakes that
one
made me a
mistake
bad
doesn't
person.
Make them a bad woman.
Right. The decision is made, right? The act was not a good act, right? But by all other measurable standards, you're a good person. Your situation is what it is. I know motherfuckers that went to prison that are really good people. They fucked up though, right? They did some stupid shit and they passed. They ain't did it in 20 years.
I think you speaking to the grace that you showing them grace, but I'm
I
just
am because
saying that
I don't want to hold certain acts you can never recover from. Murder,
that's
molestation, shit
where
like
that's
that.
where I was going. I was to say that
There's certain acts you can never recover from
slippery
my
slope, right?
perspective.
Right, but I'm saying sometimes I'm saying that I'm not here to judge nobody, right? But what I'm saying is that you know there are when I'm talking about good, I'm making that synonymous with quality, right?
Okay.
So, I'm not saying that you didn't have good intentions or you haven't improved. But when we talk about good, when you talk about a good man, what's a good man, right? Is what is going to be quantified or demonstrated by what he brings to, what I mean, with his entire self, right?
Okay. I can
So
fuck with
if
that.
if you come in as a woman and what you bring is, trauma or a whole lot of remnants from your past decisions, then the quality of life that I'm gonna experience with you is going to be minimal.
I'm not talking 3 kids by 3 motherfuckers or 6 kids by 6
I know you're
motherfuckers.
not. I know you're
Right.
not. But I'm just saying that when you say
I'm-
we too hard on women, it's like you kind of you moving the goalposts or something.
I feel like there's some decisions that were, and I look at this across the board, right? Because the business that my wife works in, she deals with people in various positions, and there's motherfuckers who did some shit in the 80s that are still paying for it, right? They can't get this job because they made it. Like, to me, that's kind of fucked up. I give a motherfucker a pass if you've been good to, again, certain shit is unexcusable. I'm always gonna lay that on the line. I know everybody's shit's different, but I think certain shit is excusable. Like, okay, you made a dumbass. If you had a baby at 18, I did the same shit. That, to me, and again, I'm looking at it from my perspective, doesn't mean you made a dumb. If you had a baby at 18, that was fucked up. You can become better. But if you had a baby at 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, all right, ain't no hope for you, right? You
No, but
consistently fuck up.
you had a baby at 18 with the person that you're still with.
100%. But it still wasn't a great decision. Right? But I don't look at her like, you're a bad woman because you had a baby at 18.
Justify how it's not a great decision.
There's nobody that's
Can I
prepared to
take-
be a
can I
parent
take-
at 18.
I was just
But
going
go
to say,
ahead.
can I take the wheel on this one?
You can take the wheel on that one.
18 years old, what are you doing? You're most likely still living with your parents.
Man,
And if you did-
$4.05 an hour. That's what I was
and
making.
exactly.
But
And you're
what-
not,
but
and you're
what
not
was-
making a whole lot of money. You have to realize, do you have kids, D?
Yeah.
You know how much kids cost to raise, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
18 ain't it.
Was you making that money at 18?
No, but
Exactly.
that's
So
but,
you
already starting off wrong.
but what I understand about life is as far as even being a man, it's about provision. And I know it don't come down to money, right? But what I do know
Right.
is all about motivation. You just saying we just got done talking about, you got to have the will and desire. And I guarantee that that child that you created, what you say prematurely served as your motivation. You know what I mean? And
no
to
doubt.
increase your wheelhouse, right?
And I can rock with that
So-
as well.
and I'm saying
But
I'm saying it's
that
resulted.
wasn't like at the end of it, like me personally, and I'm not trying to force my beliefs on you. Yeah, it gave you the will and desire to do better, but like traditionally, if we're going to speak about the traditional family, most of the kids are planned. Like
Traditionally,
try
yeah,
for
right.
you try for these kids, and I can guarantee you there is no traditional marriage in the history of mankind that tried for kids at the age of 18.
Not since
unless-
1930 some shit.
Exactly.
No,
That's
but
what I was about to say. Unless you're going to go back
how
to
are you
the
having
early
sex?
1900s.
How are you having unprotected sex, but you're not trying to have a kid?
Let me explain that. We perform the action ignoring the consequences.
Exactly.
Right. I'm
Like,
not
you're
saying
walking
we did
into it-
exactly what it takes to try to have a baby.
You're hoping to not, but that's just
Hun-
that's
that was what that
you're
mentality
hoping
is
to,
why I said at 18 we weren't ready,
right. You
right?
you may not have you may not have fully understood, but what I'm saying is
I knew
that
all the risks. I didn't
your
give a
if
fuck.
right, but your life, what I'm saying, if you could tell your life from that point up to now, you have no evidence to substantiate that it was not a good decision for you.
It was not a good decision for me. I didn't recommend it to my children,
No, you didn't
right?
recommend. But what I'm saying is your life does not substantiate it being a bad decision for you. It just
It
there's
was
no
not a bad decision, and it was 100%. And I'm gonna put this on, and it's gonna 100% the woman I chose, right? If it would have been any other woman, that would have been a fucked up decision, right? She was the right person now, and I knew that, but that wasn't why I was busting raw, right? That wasn't it, right? It was purely lack of concern, right? It was a lack of concern. Now, it worked out great, right? I'm not gonna sit here and bullshit. But we decided after the first kid, like, okay, there's some shit we have to have before we have the second kid. And this, we put in the effort and planned it and everything because this shit, it was a wake up call.
I think that there's a lot of caveats here to this conversation, but what I'm saying is that is people that have children, their first child at 28, and it ends up disastrous, right?
I'm with you. I'm with you.
And
I
So,
so
mean,
I'm
yeah, of
saying,
course.
but let me
so
ask,
I'm
would you
so
recommend anybody to have a baby at 18? Is that a
it's not it's,
recommendation?
it's not about the age with me. You know what I mean? Now
It
Do
has
you
I
to
think
be about
anybody's
the age.
ready at
Like,
18 to be a parent? Because I can tell you that I wasn't.
I don't think that the typical what we know to be typical as an 18-year-old, I don't think it is sensible to have a child if your vision for life is to go out here and experience life a certain way.
so then that answers
But I know right now, I know some 18-year-olds who have clearly made they ain't said it, but it's clear that you want to live a simple life.
Right.
They're not going to go. So right now, but their decision may be like, I'm gonna go to the army, right? You know what I mean? We know what comes with that, right? You know what
Right.
I'm
Right.
saying? And I know that you can get that same. That's just it's just going to be a natural motivation. You already know you're motivated to do something that's going to bring about discipline and structure in your life. But I know that same outcome can happen from a kid that has a baby at 18. You know what I'm saying? I'm not
No
saying that
doubt.
that's the best way to go, but I'm saying that it's not about the age. I know men that have been having babies since they were 18 and are now 20 something, and and nothing changed. You know what I'm saying?
No,
I know
I'm
people
with you. Right.
who had babies when they were older, and they just and you know what I'll be from what it looks like. It's like, you know what, your lack of experience, like me, I didn't had kids since I was 18 years old. So I'm like, it's like, man, this what is simple to me is not simple to them. But they're 28, 30 year, 32,
I
35.
will say,
at the end, me, I had my first child at 19, and any woman that I meet that's 19, between the ages of 18 and 25, and they don't already have kids, I tell them flat out,
That's your
wait until
trauma.
you.
That's your
right. I was gonna
trauma.
say
That's
that,
not. It's not.
that's your
It's
trauma.
not
That's
more
your
so
trauma.
of
That's
my
projection.
trauma. It's that one, you got to look at the jobs that I work. I work as a bartender, so of course I'm working with a bunch of servers. You are not where the fuck you want
But
to be.
hold on. So let me
Right.
let me stop you real quick. Right. And I think this is a culture problem. Most men will bed/wife a woman who has any position or her job means nothing. Right. I know motherfuckers that make $500,000-$600,000 a fucking month, and they'll date a chick that works at McDonald's. It is her career has nothing. The problem we have is we start looking at what if he's not here, right? And we start trying to think what you need to have with him. If you start planning to not have a man, you will end up without a man,
Right.
right?
So
Her position doesn't matter. Her man matters, and you have to. And I know it sounds sexist or whatever the fuck, but her man matters because without him,
no.
you don't have a baby.
That's it, right? So what you're literally speaking to my point. It's not that you had a baby at 19. It's you had a baby with the wrong person at 19. Because if you had a baby with a man that was, raised a certain way or had the motivation to adhere to his responsibilities, your life wouldn't have been like that. You would be selling you. So it ain't your job to really tell. I don't think it's your job. It's our job to tell a person or kid what not to do. Is just share my
Share your
experience with them,
experience.
but
Yeah.
also share your circumstances, share the context with it. You know what I mean? Now, because a woman having a baby at 19 with a 18 or 19-year-old boy who was raised in a house without a father is very different from one that is 20 years old and has been raised by a man, you know what I mean, and has been taught that, hey, this is your when you have a
This is
when
your
you make
responsibility.
it's your responsibility. This is what you're going to do. I tell you like this. Me and my partner, and it's like my brother now. You know what I mean? He's been for years. We both had children at a young age, right? And we both dealt with the struggles of not picking the right person. However, his understanding as far as responsibility came when we both set out to go to college after we had babies, right? He decided, you know what? And he told me, we just talked about this the other day. I remember going on, he remembers going on a walk with his dad, you know what I mean, after he got impregnated this girl, who is now his wife. Is like, okay, so what you gonna do? His daddy being there, basically that's him holding him accountable. You know, I'm gonna have to make some decisions. I ain't going to college. I'm going to keep my job at the city. You know what I mean? Because I got a baby. Me, I went to college, right? Not understanding, and I'm thinking like, as long as I'm making money, I can send money back, or I come back. You know what I mean? But nah, that's you know what I'm saying. So it's a different. It's a different outcome. You know what I mean? It's not both of us can agree that man, we wish we would have waited. But I'm just saying that
We just lost
you know,
Robin, but that's all right.
yeah, it's
You
all
know,
good.
I'm gonna touch on this and then we'll wrap up. I remember sitting like when my girl told me she was pregnant, bro. I was still in school, right? And I went to my homie. I was like, bro, I don't know what the fuck to do. This motherfucker laughed at me. He's like, you got a baby. 5 years later, that motherfucker had 7, right? And I'm just like, God damn, bro. Like, so you're right. Like, it depends on. And I'm gonna give him credit. He's a great dad. He's had a lot of fucking kids. Uh, it depends on who you are and where you are in life. I knew Robin just jumped back. Let me grab her back. I knew, and then Robin, we're gonna shut down because 11 is normally our time. But I knew at a young, like I was different than a lot of people, right? I was not prepared to be a father at 18, but I also knew that if I impregnate a woman, I'm going to do what's necessary for that family to stay together. Because I don't feel like a kid who did not ask to be here should be subjected to somebody's preferences because they decided 5 years down the road that they want to do some different shit because it just felt better. Like that just wasn't normal to me, right? I also knew I didn't want kids in different households. I at a young age, I'm talking 12, 13, 14 years old. I'm like, I don't want kids in a different household. I want the toughest decision I have to make in my life regarding my children to be there's a school event at 2 different schools because they're 2 different ages and I got to pick which one I'm going to. Not
Yeah,
there's 2 different events at 2 different houses at 2 different schools because you
yeah.
know what I'm saying, and I got to
And
see
I
who.
live in one, and I don't live in the other, right?
Right
That's
now,
a
I'm
whole
making a
different
decision
thing.
based on who she is, not who the kid is.
And you know what else? Something I had to learn through my own
Damn,
experiences,
Kai.
right?
Hold on,
Where
hold on. Before you say that, bro, Robin, am I wrong? Okay, let's say you got a man, he has
No,
kids by you,
that
and
was
so
some real shit. That's why
right,
I'm like,
you're making the
damn.
decision on where you go based on who she is. Right? If she's a decent motherfucker, you gonna just flip a coin and be like, okay, I got to do this. But if
no,
she's an
because
asshole, you going to her kid shit.
yeah, right.
My bad.
That's
Go
what I'm
ahead, bro.
saying. No, but that's real shit. And I'm saying, and to add to that, what I realized through my own experiences is that it was not serving my child well by me telling him, don't have a baby at 18 when he knows that he is the baby that I had at 18, right?
Right.
It should have been me saying like, "Hey, no,
Be
don't have
prepared.
a baby until you are, and if you know what I mean,
Yeah.
like until this, and that is it. That's all, and that's what I mean by like us. We projecting, we got to be careful about projecting our trauma onto our children
Yeah.
because whenever they can make the same. It's possible for them to make the same decisions that we made, but have a better outcome. You know what I mean?
100%. Right.
It's very possible. So, but what you saying is really the thing. Is like you don't want to put yourself in a situation where you're having a baby. I'm more concerned with, hey, if you have a baby with a person, with a woman, man, try to stay with her. Try to build something with
That's
her as
you
opposed
know
to
what,
doing it.
and that's the reality, right? And I'll end it on this note, right? My daughter and her husband had a baby, and we are heavily involved, right? Which is what we didn't have, right? So I wanted to make sure, no matter how, because you can prepare your ass off. A baby is something that is not something you can prepare for, right? Like you can do everything right, but there's nothing that prepares you to wake up at 3 in the morning, right? So we we are heavily involved, and I've heard from so many people, like, man, you guys don't realize how blessed your children are to have you guys as a part of the like. Again, tomorrow, my wife just texted me a few minutes ago. Tomorrow makes our 32nd anniversary being together. She's like, hey, Lexi wants to, have her come over in the morning and help out. This, I'm good with that, right? Like, I want you to. We are there as much as possible, because we didn't have that, right? Giving your children the resources and the opportunities you didn't have is a blessing that I don't think we understand. We keep putting our kids out at 18. We keep saying, when you do this, when I'm done with you. That shit is so fucked up.
And
right?
how old is your daughter?
She's 24, or she'll be 24 in October.
Right, and you just made my point. If her having a baby at 24, if y'all wasn't who y'all are, would have been a totally different outcome.
100%.
She has, very young, active, experienced grandparents, and like, dude, like that's where it's at. So she's good.
Right. We weren't mad that they had a baby.
Like,
right.
no,
Which is probably
because
the
you're
exact
there.
opposite of our parents. Right. To
Right.
just keep it real. Right. My
All
mom
right.
was not happy that I was having a baby at 18. Her mom was not happy that she was having a baby she was 19. Right. She's a couple months older. Right. There was the happiness wasn't there. Right. It was more of us hearing from our parents that we are not making the right decision. So we took that shit and said to our children, like, okay, cool. This is where we at. Right. Let's make it the right decision. Let's put in the effort. The whole, the whole family, right? We're all putting in the effort, right? This is, bro. I know I keep.
So that means to me, it was the right decision, right? Because you
It
have
really
a
was.
collective group of people who decided that we are going to. This baby is the priority, so we're
For the whole
all
fucking
going.
family.
And that's what children are supposed to do, inspire us to be better. But
100%.
we're not using it, we're not being inspired the right way. We're not making the sacrifices that we need to make with our creations. And that's why we're in the condition that we're in right now.
Hey, on that, we're gonna end it on that note, man. I appreciate y'all joining. We back at it. What's today? Fucking Wednesday. So we back at it Sunday. Let's keep it going. I'm gonna start a group chat with us three. Let's put some topics together that we can touch on. So I got a few of them, and a couple of them I didn't get to today, man. But I greatly appreciate y'all. Y'all jumping on this shit, man, and fucking with us.
Absolutely.
Cool
And Robin, congratulations on that goddamn baby. I got baby fever right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
So
man.
super baby fever. So, but nah, I definitely appreciate y'all, man.
No
Thank
doubt.
you.